Good evening, everybody. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. I was actually trying to catch the last bit of the trial because I was like I don't know, I missed something there. Like, I don't know how I got like behind, but I did. So I was like, let me turn my camera on. So I was trying to hurry up and do it at like 1.5x speed, but I don't even know how I got behind. I went and got my nails done earlier, and I think that's what happened. Was the lady was talking to me, and so I like was listening in, and then I had to go back and re-listen because it was insane today. I hate saying that word in this case because she's trying to use that word, but you know. See, Mariska, see, I'm right on time then too. Me too then. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting the like button as you guys are coming in, it does send it into the algorithm. It'll get more people into the chat, get more people to know the case. Oh, it's been a tough day. Oh, Mariska, I hope your night is better. I hate tough days. Well, hopefully the weather's at least good where you're at. I know the weather's not good here. It got freezing cold today. I was like, what's going on? That like when you ask Google and she tells you the temperature and then she says, but with the wind chill factor, it's, and you know it's bad when she says that part. You were first, Eddie. You usually are first, I think. Usually, sometimes, most of the time. Teresa, where were you yesterday? I hope you felt okay, and I hope you had a good day off. And I hope you were eating burgers on the beach. That's what I said that you're probably doing. Because we were like, it was a good 40 minutes in, and I had an epiphany. I was like, where the heck's Teresa? I don't know why. I thought you were in the chat with us, but you was not there. And we was like, she probably needed a day off. And we were hoping that you were enjoying yourself, that you were on the beach or something fun. So let me go back up in the chat and see what you guys have been talking about, because I know that Summer's she hates Letecia too. So this morning, I'll go ahead and start with this morning. So this morning, if you guys don't remember, if you guys haven't been watching the trial, actually, how about we do this? I didn't do a poll. Put a 1 in the chat if you're watching Letecia Stauch trial. Put a 2 in the chat if you're not really watching it. Put a 3 in the chat if you have absolutely no idea what the case is even about. Oh, I wish I could have done sooner too. I would have, Parker Marie. I was actually getting my nails done. I went and got so last time I had pink nails, and I did pink for Maddie May because that was her favorite, from, Maddie Mogan, Idaho 4, that was her favorite color. And then when I was thinking today I was going to get my nails done, blue popped in my head for Gannon and for Michael Monkey Vaughn, because there's been some new developments in his case today that are tragic. And so I did blue, but I didn't just do like any blue. I did the brightest blue. Like, so y'all know, like robin egg blue, I thought was spring. Maybe it'll give them some good vibes. Well, hey, Princess Meg Elsa. Oh, there's a lot of people in here. I'm going to the top. Well, hello, Ashley. I have seen that you are back. You worked 44 hours Friday, Saturday, and half a Sunday. Not me, girlfriend. You sound like me. That sounds like me. I still work. Like that many hours, I feel like, because, by the time like you're watching the trial or if you're putting together like content or whatever, but not still, I can sit down. It's a big difference. So yeah, don't forget to like the video. I'm just going through the chat really quick and then we'll get into it. But today, so juror number 12 was excused. They were just excused. I heard in another chat that they said in the chat that the juror, like we heard it, the juror wasn't like in any trouble. It wasn't like they did anything wrong. The judge actually said like, thank you for bringing this to my attention. So I had heard that maybe the juror had went to church with one of the witnesses, but I'm not sure how true that is. Let me go back down here. So everyone's been watching. Wow. Carolyn said 1. Summer 1. Jan, Isabel. Wow. Eddie's on it. Margot 2. 1 for 3 years. Watching it. Yeah. I'm watching it when I can stand. She's horrible. Yeah, Mindy. Oh my God. She is. 1 and 2 to 1. Yeah, me too. Well, I was just doing the updates and then, well, I was doing like a little of both. Like, so I'll listen to it during the day while I'm like cleaning and doing whatever. But sometimes I forget, that it's on. When it's just something that I'm not, something that's not like pulling my attention. But for the most part, compared to Alec Murdaugh's trial, this will keep you on the edge of your seat for the most part. Harley on the stand was heartbreaking. Like, I don't know. I feel so bad. I feel terrible for her. And then for them to even question, for them to question if like the GoFundMe, so they were questioning her GoFundMe, and she said that she had lost both of her parents, and she was trying to like tell them like, I did lose my mom, even though she's in prison, I still lost her. And like, they were just kind of hammering her with that. Like the defense, it wasn't even the prosecution. But I was just like, wow. So if you guys did not see the first thing in the beginning of the trial today, first things first, Letecia is no longer sitting in her corner. She's no longer, going to ring inside of the wall. Like, she's not going to like go, like dive in there. She was caught on Friday. We discussed it, flipping the bird. So I have the actual like full video of that now. So I'm going to play that here in a minute. And then she was caught again. So the judge decided to sit her in between her two attorneys, and he didn't like give her a chair like to swivel around in. Like, so she's sitting in a stationary kind of a chair. She still can put her hands, up on here. I would have put him somewhere else, but he did say that if he needs to, he will bolt her hands underneath the table. So she can't have any time with her hands up, because she literally just didn't flip the camera off once. She didn't do a Buster Murdaugh. You know what I mean? Like where you can kind of question it, but you're just like, I don't know. This one's for sure was flipping the bird. And and I just don't get it. If she's going to be doing this, I don't know. Like, don't be discreet about it. If you're supposed to be insane, right? Like, be insane. Let me actually do something really quick. How's everybody's day going, by the way? I didn't even ask you guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday, other than Letecia. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day but Letecia. And then there we go. And if you guys wouldn't mind to subscribe to the channel, if you do like true crime, that's what we're about here. I usually have it on subscriber only in the chat. I'm leaving it on everybody like tonight, so we'll see how it goes. But everyone just be nice to each other, or have to switch it, but usually it's cool. My day's been good too, Addie. Thank you. Thanks for asking. Not too bad. Oh, I don't mind. Honey, I didn't hear you. Honey Hush. I like that name. That's cute. Oh, I like your picture too. Yeah. So I was just trying to like read your guys' messages too. I have like iPad here, computer here. So Honey Hush, I think she did give her daughter the finger today. Yeah, most certainly. Most certainly. And they didn't even address it. I didn't hear. Yeah, like, oh, my Lord have mercy. She's not insane, because I don't want to keep using that word, but she's stupid. That's what she is. She's ignorant. She's ignorant, because and I discussed this on the last live, if you're going to be like insane about it, be insane about it. Throw those middle fingers up in the air. But if you're, like, I don't know. If you're going to be insane, I would be flipping them everywhere. Like, I'd be waving them around like I just don't care. But she's doing it in a way where it's like discreet, and it's like vindictive. Yes, I just looked at the chat and saw Summer, I just saw that. I was like, right when I said vindictive, I saw she said she's vindictive. Yeah. Gregory Houston, and yeah, that was a tough question. She was crying and everything. It was so sad, like watching her, like, I don't know how I feel about it. You can tell. I think she was really still. I think she's still realizing. Like I think she's still realizing. I think like her today on the stand, she was realizing like I think she knows what her mom did, but seeing her mom in that courtroom, that's a whole new ball game. That's a whole new ball game. You could be coached and help, not coached, but like helped and like, go over the questions a million times. But you could see her today. She had a lot of those answers that were like, I don't know. I don't know it. I don't know. And I'm just going to tell y'all, prosecutors don't ask witnesses I don't know questions. They just don't. They ask you questions that you know the answer to. You know what I mean? Like they usually talk to you beforehand. They like prep you. They get you ready. And hers were a lot of I don't know. And I think she was just like, I think she just some of the questions she didn't. I don't know if she wanted to say the answer to, but she really did. She did. I mean, she did. I think she told the truth on everything. My heart broke for her. Yeah, my heart broke for her too. It really did. It really, really does. Because I couldn't imagine. And then for people to say like she didn't lose both her parents. And even if like she had lost her real dad or whatever, before, you know, Al did come in as like a stepfather for her. And for them to like question that, I didn't like that. I didn't like the way that they were doing that for her. I'm trying to look at my notes a little bit because I was trying to take some notes today, but it was hard. It was hard not to be like glued and not like, I didn't want to write anything. I was just like, oh my gosh, because I didn't realize, I wish that they would tell you who's going on the witness stand before, because I would have streamed live today. That would have been for sure. I felt like the prosecution though was a lot nicer, a lot softer than the defense was with her. For some reason, that was just my takeaway. And that's why I was like a few minutes late, like I said, because I was trying to listen to the rest of that. Because I knew that the jurors, as Nancy would say, the jurors had questions at the end. And so I was trying to like listen to them, but then they were so long, I just ended up like recording it with my phone. So if we can listen to it at the end. And I do have some videos, like some clips too, that they clipped today, so I can show you those. Yeah, I mean, she's going to love her mom. I mean, I don't know. How can you put someone in that position to answer that kind of a question? I mean, their questions were good. So what were you guys talking about up there? What'd you guys see that was so good? Are you talking about chasing paper? Let's say if you are, I follow them on Twitter. I don't think I follow them on YouTube though. Yes. She lost her mom in an awful way. Yeah. I don't even know. I've lost my mom. I'm trying to think like what would be, I really don't know what would be worse. I feel like it's just like the same. You never want to see your mom after that. And I think really, like, I really do think she was even having an epiphany on that stand today. Like, she broke down. It was so sad. She's an extremely intelligent girl, though. She's extremely intelligent. I'd love to see her police interview videos, too. And then I actually want to let you guys know, I did 2 pre-recordeds today. I'm going to do 2 tomorrow. But so they'll be out in the next couple of days. So they're just updates on different cases that we cover. Even though we did, what was it, Sunday? So last night or yesterday around like 4, we did our live and we covered like 10 cases. I have more updates now. It's crazy. And they're not the greatest updates. So yeah, she can't grieve. No. She won't be able to, I don't even know when she'll be able to grieve. When this is all over, when her mom's away, maybe. Oh, so, you talking about the guy with the red shirt? Because that was her brother that was on the stand. Yeah, just let me know what it was. I didn't catch it. What was it? It's on the community page. Okay, yeah, I'll play a video and then I'll look at it. Are you talking about chasing paper? Just let me know, Summer. And since Honey Hush is going to be cleaning or something, she said, or making dinner. So she said, making dinner. Have to finish dinner. Yeah. Sometimes we clean. Sometimes we make dinner when we listen. Okay, so I wanted to actually show you this video first. This is going to be, I don't know if you guys all saw the first time she was flipping people off. And it wasn't the first time, but they did move her out of the corner. So this is going to be from Friday, but Law and Crime just uploaded it a little bit ago, which it says 55 minutes ago, but that's not right.
And the two sticker scales.
Sorry, 4 hours ago now. But yeah, so we'll be able to see her in all of her glory here. And then let me know. Yeah, so chasing paper. Okay, I'll look her up and then I'll look at the community tab.
That were on the garage floor. We're close to those 2x4s that were previously mentioned.
384.
People's Exhibit 384 is now a close-up photograph of the possible blood stains identified using placard B.
Was our positive reaction photograph after the bag had been removed.
457.
We've rotated slightly to the east. This is a photograph of the southeast corner of the garage, highlighting those boards and the box directly south of the boards.
It's come to our attention that during I think mostly the afternoon session of witnesses today, that the defendant has been flipping the bird potentially to witnesses or to our family that are here for Gannon. And there have been pictures that have been passed to me during this process. One, it's disrespectful to this court. It's disrespectful to this process. And I would ask the court to admonish her to refrain from acting this way in the future during the pendency of this case.
Okay. I've not seen any of that, but on the other hand, the defendant is to my far right. I can see her some on a screen, but I'll just take it as is. Ms. Stauch, what you need to understand is that I can control the conduct of an awful lot of people in the courtroom, including yours. And don't do that. Don't show that kind of, don't be making disrespectful gestures to witnesses, to people, to family members, anything like that. You need to understand that if that continues, I can have you removed and the trial will continue without you. And you will sit in a holding cell in this building, and every time we take a break, I'll bring you back up to ask whether or not you can conform your conduct to what I'm requiring. If you choose to act in a disruptive behavior or disruptive fashion, I'll just have you removed and we'll continue on without you, and then we'll check and see if you want to come back and behave in a respectful manner. So I'll just leave it at that, and we will see where we are on Monday. All right. All right, court will be in recess. You can leave everything here. The only thing that I for sure want to have locked up is the gun and the ammunition. I don't ever leave that out. So that we need to make sure gets into a locker somewhere or into an evidence closet somewhere. Other than that, we'll see everybody 9 o'clock on Monday morning.
All rise.
And the two.
So that was her in all of her glory. I was trying to find her. What's her name on YouTube? Yeah, at Honey Hush. What's the channel? Because I don't think it's Chasing Paper. When I pulled that up, it was like, looked like Arts and Crafts. But I know that her name's, like, I know it's under what, like the docket / Chasing Paper under, or at Chasing Paper on Twitter. So I was trying to see if it was on there, but I don't see it. If not, just let me know. Yeah, let me know everything, and I'll move on, and we'll come back to it. But Tracy and Chasing. Okay, let me put that in really quick, actually. Okay. So actually, we're gonna share this really quick. So I don't know if you guys heard, but didn't Harley just find out about this too, that her dad had died from an OD? Because didn't Letecia say that he was like murdered or something? Didn't I hear that right today? Because I'm feeling like I'm losing my mind with this one. You know what I mean? There's so many twists and turns. I'm like, did she say that or am I just thinking? Last week, I hate to say that word, but yeah, that's crazy that she just found out. So, and I didn't even know that was in Ohio. I'm from Ohio. Look, my aviation t-shirt. Let me get to the tab. Where's it at? I'm like, where am I at? So I can read it. This is crazy. Okay. So he was only 34 years old. My Lord. Wow. That's young. It says, more info to avoid rumors. Letecia's ex and Harley's dad was in Ohio when he died from an OD. This is from Tracy Ann Chasing. Her name's Chasing on YouTube. And then I follow her over on Twitter. And it's called The Docket at Chasing Truth. And she's always got all the dockets, all the paperwork you will ever need. So thank you for letting me know about this. I really appreciate that. So it says, Letecia's ex and Harley's dad was in Ohio when he died from an OD. They were not in a relationship at the time, and she wasn't in Ohio. A woman from the coroner's office is listed on the witness list for the trial, or for this trial. Not sure why, since his death isn't related, maybe to show how much T lies. She told people he died in a freak work accident. Oh, and told Harley he was murdered. So yeah. Wow. So she told people, why wouldn't she tell people the same thing as she told Harley? Like, why try to have that many lies going? Like, that just seems like more lies than you need. That's so young. That's younger than me. Yeah, she's in college for nursing. And and there's a video, and it starts right at that too, where it talks about her aunt helping her up until she pretty much like started talking to the prosecution. And when I heard her tell that, I felt that like my aunt was that person, like, you know what I mean? Like, would help you, but always had an ulterior motive. And when I heard that, it literally made the pit of my stomach hurt for Harley. It really did. Because she was trying to better herself going to school. And, she stole a vehicle in high school? Honey, hush, man, you know a lot about this case. I didn't know that. Wow. Because lying is her second nature. You are so, oh my Lord. She can, I don't know how people can keep up with the lies. That's probably her problem, though. She couldn't. So let me close this tab, and then I'll start this other one. So this one is today this one's going over her flipping the bird today. So if you didn't watch, if you didn't catch it, you can see her right there. She's smack dab in the middle of them this time. They're not messing around. Oh, you live in the same town as Letecia was raised? So you live in the town, wasn't there only like 3,000 people that lived there? Because I'm from a really small town, and then the small town I grew up in was like 25,000, and then I moved to a town that had about 2,500. So I can relate to a small town feel. Mark, yeah. The judge was not, he had already addressed this on Friday. I think he addressed it before that, like her making motions with her hands. And so he's like third time's the charm. Like he was already going to put her in the basement and leave her down there. So I'll play this one for you guys here.
Then, Mr. Allen, I'm going to direct this question to you because you made the comments on Friday. You had indicated that you had received some information, and I thought you said some photographs regarding the defendant's conduct, which potentially could be construed as extending the middle finger or flipping people off, including a witness, perhaps family. Do you have those photographs?
I can get them printed. Basically, it was just screen captures from what was being broadcast on WebEx, which I think the court may also have the same things that I saw.
Do we have that now?
I'm going to say that those were YouTubers that probably clipped that real quick. So you're welcome, guys. I'm just going to put that out there. It wasn't me, but I'm just going to put that out there. That's how those pictures were clipped so quick.
Okay, so we will upload some of that so that there is some record of what it was. And you may have all noticed that the tables have been slightly reconfigured. They'll be reconfigured again after or at lunchtime, largely because I think that table where it is generally wasted space. So what we're going to do is give you a more narrow one and slide that table over further. I'll move that table then to the back so that you can put stuff on it. You may still be able to use it to some extent, but nobody will be able to sit at it. Ms. Stauch, you have the right and obligation to be present for your trial. Being present permits you to see the evidence the prosecution is presenting against you. It permits you to communicate with your lawyers while that is going on and assist them in your defense. You also have the right for the jury not to see you in restraints that are commonly associated with being held in custody or confinement. That way, the jury does not see you as a prisoner or someone who is in custody and is not prejudiced against you because of that. These rights, however, are not without limitation. While you have the right to be present for your trial, you also have the responsibility to behave with the respect and decorum required for this formal proceeding. You also have the responsibility to behave in such a fashion as to make the use of additional restraints unnecessary. Sometimes, during trial, a defendant chooses to act out. The likelihood that that will happen, in my experience, seems to increase the longer the trial takes and the more serious the charges are. And I know that right now we're in week 4, or we finished 4 weeks. We're starting week 5. You aren't the first defendant to act out. Probably not going to be the last. I cannot imagine the pressure a defendant feels during any trial. It's not uncommon for a defendant to disagree with certain testimony or dislike a witness or a victim. Nevertheless, you cannot act disrespectfully in words or actions. First of all, never helps you out. You've already heard one juror submitted a question regarding his observation of your conduct. They don't miss anything. It also makes your attorney's job much harder. They need to focus on the evidence presented and how to counter that rather than your conduct in the courtroom. I am also aware of the practical realities that exist in this case. I could hold you in contempt for your conduct in the courtroom. That would mean that I could impose a sentence of up to 6 months of jail for each incident of conduct which I find to be contemptuous. However, in a case where a defendant is facing decades or even life in prison if convicted, a 6-month contempt sentence does not seem to be much of a deterrent. But that does not leave me without a remedy. We have moved the tables around. You are now sitting in a chair that does not rock or swivel. You will be directly facing the bench, and you will be more in my line of sight. I want to caution you against certain actions, such as waving your hands around, trying to stretch your fingers out, and leaving one of them more prominent than the other. Those acts would be, in my opinion, disrespectful to the proceeding. It's disrespectful to the court and the legal process. I also view it as a form of witness intimidation and an attempt to influence presentation of evidence in this case. If that conduct occurs again, it would be a violation of the decorum I expect in this case. Everybody that's sitting in the gallery sees signs that have already warned them of the same kind of conduct. You can't do it either. I may then impose other remedies. I could simply have a bolt installed on the underside of the table and have your hands cuffed to that bolt. You wouldn't be able to use your hands. The jury wouldn't be able to see the handcuffs. It would be uncomfortable. I could have you removed from the courtroom and the trial would proceed without you. You would not be returned to the jail. Instead, you would be held in a holding cell in this building. You know how uncomfortable they are. You would then be transported back to the courtroom at every break to see if you had changed your mind and agreed to behave in a respectful manner a courtroom requires. And you would be brought over for the next day of trial and we would start all over again.
He ain't messing around. But it's about damn time, because he's let her go like a while with this, you know? And it wasn't like she just flipped it. Like I said, like she didn't like bust her murd off it. You know what I mean? She was flipping them in the air. She was both at a time. It's just crazy. But T King, the only thing, if she's trying to show like mental, like she's trying to be unstable, you know? I would think that, I don't know, if it was me, I'd be flipping them in the air. Make a scene. She's just being too calculating. She's too calculating. But them jurors, I'm gonna have to say it like Nancy Grace, jurors, they have nothing to do other than listen and look around that courtroom. I was on a jury, it was only, I think, 3 days, maybe? 3 days. That's it, 3 days. And I swear I probably counted every tile in that place. Like, you know, they don't have tiles, but you know what I mean. Not as bad as Daryl Brooks. No, I don't think that, see, but that's what she needs to get on the Daryl Brooks level. And then maybe she'll be a little bit more mentally unfit. Because she's something else, isn't she? She is something else. Oopsie. Okay. I don't know. Let me see what I wrote here. Also, before we get into, because we're going to go into the next videos, and they're about they're Harley testifying. So one of them is like 30 minutes long, and then the other one's like 20 minutes long, so not very long. Just like, you know, the good stuff I say. I did say jurors. And I like how he's put the dinosaurs. I need to write it like that. I never really knew how to write it. Now I know. I like that. Yeah, that's how Nancy Grace says it. So everybody, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you should subscribe for that reason, because we're trying to get a Nancy cardboard cutout going on here. 10,000 subscribers, we're hitting that mark, and we're getting her back here. She's going to be maybe sitting in my chair. I don't know. We're going to have her though. We've got her. We've got her. The one we want picked out. We just gotta order it, because we do a lot of Nancy Grace. Like, we'll listen to her podcast a lot on here. So, what's Eddie disagreeing about? Everything. He needs a nap. You should subscribe of a dinosaur. That's cute. That was a cute dinosaur. I didn't even know they had a dinosaur emoji. That's the cutest one. I'm going to use that a lot now, I feel like. Now I feel like we might need one. Like another emoji. Yeah, she's mentally stable. You're absolutely right, Teresa. She's trying, but she's not trying good. Like, bang your head off the table or something, Letecia. Like, that'd be cool. You know? I mean, she could do that. She could do that. She can just hit her head off the table. I don't know. They did ask Harley some tough questions, though. They asked about, like, the trip to Florida. They were asking her, you know, if she had smelled anything in the van. And oh, that's a different place then. I might be thinking of, I don't know, I might be thinking of a different case. They asked her if she had ever gotten anything out of the back of the van when they were traveling, and she said she hadn't gotten anything out of the back of the van, like the whole time they were traveling, which I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why she didn't, but You would think she would. I don't know. That's just me. That part I don't really get because, and maybe she just didn't ask questions because she just didn't. But I mean, me and my mom were, okay. So Letecia and Harley, to me, their relationship seemed like more almost like friends, but almost to the point where Letecia was like mean girl energy to Harley. Like when they were reading the text messages out loud, and I hope, I didn't watch these videos beforehand because I was watching the trial, but I hope they go over the text messages. But Letecia would be like, can't you read? Didn't you read that? Can't you read? Like, the fudge? And then the attorney said, as soon as, I don't know if you guys remember hearing that part, but they like, so, you know, Harley didn't know what happened with Gannon. She thought that the dog was on fire. She didn't know what was going on because she was at work, and Letecia had wrote her so fast and she couldn't really look at it because she was at work. So she just like kind of like wrote her back really quick. And she wrote her mom back and was trying to like ask questions, and Letecia would be like, can't you read? Didn't you read that? And like, then the attorney says, so to you, does that sound like a regular mother-daughter phone text message, like, you know, back and forth? And she's like, yeah. And so I'm like, no, ma'am. Like hitting the mic, no, ma'am, that's not normal. Back and forth. My mother would have never said that to me. I would have never said that to my mother. My mom, ooh, but my mom was like an angel on earth. But you know what I mean? But I knew never to disrespect her. Letecia Harden, yeah. I don't know why I was thinking Letecia lived in a small town. But maybe I was thinking of a different case. Maybe I was. Because that's a lot more, 116,000. Because that's a lot more than 3,000. So they must have been, because when her brother was on the stand, I must have looked up the wrong place or something whenever he said it. Yeah, too much, way too much. Yes, very much so. Mindy, are you a new member? I think you are. Welcome. I know a lot of people been gifted memberships too. Yeah, Letecia would slap Harley in the face. Yeah, it's. So then I don't know how to get that. So then I'm wondering about that because Harley had said at one point that her mother never abused her. But then today she was saying that her mom would backhand her or slap her or something. And I'm just like, so I'm just not sure. Yeah, Dakota's her brother. Yeah. Bless his heart. Yeah, I can't remember where. I'm about to have to look that Dakota's thing up. I don't know where he said, but he said something, and that's what I looked up. And so I don't know. It was a small town though. I don't know what I was doing. Cheryl, oh my Lord. You said got my worker tomorrow. He's 29 cute. That's so funny. Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't got gifted one, Cheryl. You're usually in the chat. I can't even gift them to people. We were talking about that last night. Like as a creator, I can't just like say, I want to give this person a membership. I can't even actually gift memberships. I have to just buy them like everyone else does. I mean, I get like reimbursed back, you know what I mean? But I get reimbursed 40% back or 60% back. Did someone gift memberships? I was about to say, did someone just do that? Summer. I know, that's why I was wondering why Cheryl said she needed a membership. I can't see him on here. I have to look down here. Thanks, Summer. That's so sweet. Cheryl, me too, girlfriend. Me too. I'm broke as a joke. But I'm cool. I'm cool. I don't want people to be like, oh my gosh, Shawnee needs money. No, I'm not. I'm cool. I went and got my nails done today. I'm not that bad. But I did get those ones taken off, and they felt great. They felt so great. But yeah, and if you guys ever want to get gifted a membership, just make sure that you're allowed gifts are on, because me, or if you don't know Vincent, that's my boyfriend. I talk about him a lot on the channel, so a lot of people know him by just saying his name. But he'll come in and he'll gift memberships, and so just make sure that your allowed gifts are on. Yes, paint us all green. That's what I love. Look at all that. Oh my gosh, who else gifted? Mindy, that's so nice. Thank you so much. Y'all are nuts. Thank you. You're not nuts. You're nuts for me, and I love that. You guys are all so sweet. For me to gift them, I have to go through you. Okay, it's so weird. I can't even go through YouTube Studio. I have to go through YouTube. I have to get on my page, go into my own video, and then make sure I silence it so it's not like echoing. And then like I can allow gifts that way. YouTube needs to get their stuff together. I'm not saying the platform is bad or like my notifications go out and everything just fine, I feel like, but stuff like that, I wish we could gift. I wish we could had more like, stuff like that. So yes, we're gonna have to do a members only. I've been wanting to do one too, so that's good. Good news. We'll have to do one. Everyone's green. We have to make sure just make sure everyone is all green in this place. And then I think sometimes if you're gifted one before though, you can get gifted one again. I don't know. I got gifted a membership today and I'm unsubscribed from that channel. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you guys so much for doing that. That's so sweet. I love seeing all the green. And thanks for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. I really do. I love coming in tonight because like, just really quick, sometimes when we don't talk about like, Letecia's a big case, but a lot of people haven't followed this case. So if sometimes it's hard to get into like a new case that's older, but today I had like a whole bunch of y'all in the chat waiting for me today. And I love that. I don't know. So I didn't know if Landon was going to testify at all, but I was thinking that she probably would because she could be a character witness. But, I don't know, honey hush. I'm about to stream it. Because Lana's probably going to go up on that, stand too. And I'm like, oh. Okay, let me see here. So, whoops, that like got really big. Let me not do that. Let me read you this really quick. Actually, this is going to be, how long is that? I can reach. Oh yeah, I'll read this to you really quick. So it'll kind of tell you, I guess, what the video is going to be about too. Because I haven't watched, I usually will watch all of the videos before I come on. But since the trial, it's 2 hours difference here. So to come on right at 8:15, I was trying to watch the rest of the trial to make sure I could see it also. So I was just, so these are, but I did watch most of the trial today. So actually all of it, I think. So I don't think I really missed any. I just did things during the break. So sorry that I'm going back and forth there on the screen. But it says, at the beginning of Monday's court session, the judge in Letecia Stauch murder trial warned the defendant about her previous behavior in the courtroom. Friday, the defendant appeared to be giving the middle finger to people in the courtroom during testimony. No, she was. District Attorney Michael Allen brought the behavior to the attention of the court this morning. Judge Gregory Warner was prepared to admonish Stauch to follow decorum in the courtroom and not interact with others. The judge stated her behavior would not be considered contempt of court or witness. Would be considered contempt of court or witness intimidation. She was warned further outbursts could result in removal from the courtroom during proceedings or being handcuffed to a pole to restrict the use of her hands. Stauch is now in a defendant chair that does not rock or swivel and is facing the judge's bench. Well, that's pretty much what I just told you. So that's pretty much what we just talked about. So we'll go ahead and watch this, and I'll probably stop it here and there, so we can talk through it, and I will be in the chat. Also, I do have it on subscriber only mode in the chat, but it's not members only. So you could just be a subscriber for any amount of time and you'll be able to chat. So make sure you chat with us. Let us know what you guys think of this case. Let me know. I want to know.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. In Colorado, testimony is underway in the stepmother murder trial for Letecia Stauch. She's accused of killing her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon, while the child's father was deployed with the National Guard. Stauch has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. On the stand now is Stauch's adult daughter, Harley Hunt, rather. Let's get you into court for her testimony.
How old was Gannon when that happened? Do you remember?
He was really young, 4 or 5.
And Lena was even younger than that, I would imagine. You remember how old Lena was?
Like 2 maybe or so.
And so did you also have a relationship with Lena?
Yes, I did.
Was she like a sister to you?
Yes.
And was Gannon like a brother to you?
Yes.
Although there's an age difference, especially probably when you got into your teenage years, right?
Correct.
I would imagine they may have been a little annoying for you a little bit.
Yes.
Is that fair to say? Okay. What about your mom's relationship with Gannon over the years? Can you start out perhaps when Albert and your mom got married? How was that relationship between Gannon and your mom?
Yeah, so it was different at first because we were like a blended family. So we were just getting used to, you know, more people in our life. They had an okay relationship. There were problems here and there, but.
Was there a point in time when Albert and your mom first got married where Albert didn't have custody of the kids?
Yes.
And were things a little easier when the kids weren't around?
I wouldn't say easier. Having to go back and forth between, you know, the weekends and everything with them were difficult because, you know, Albert, of course, wanted his kids full time with him. So I just remember there being like a lot of problems with that. But
At some point, did Albert get custody of both Lena and Gannon?
yes,
And were they living with you all more of a full-time basis?
yes,
And did you observe the relationship between everyone at that time?
yes,
Did it seem to be, for lack of a better term, a normal family situation?
yes.
What about your relationship with Albert? How'd that go?
We had a good relationship. You know, when Albert first came in, it's when my dad passed away. So, you know, that was difficult for me at first because I didn't want like my father to feel replaced. That's how I felt like in my heart. But as time grew, we got closer.
What was your father's name?
Chance.
Hunt?
Yes.
Do you remember when he died?
Yes. When I was 12 in October.
So would that have been October 2000? Help me out with the math here.
12 or 14.
Sometime in that time frame?
Yeah.
When your father passed away, were Albert and your mom married?
Yes.
Do you know how your dad passed away?
Yes.
How did he die?
An overdose.
And when did you first learn that?
This past week.
What were you told how he died before?
That someone came in and robbed him and killed him.
And who told you that?
My mom.
Had she ever told you the truth as to how your dad died?
No.
How'd you learn about that then?
The internet.
This case has got an enormous amount of attention on social media and the internet. Is that right?
Yes.
And you have actually gotten a lot of attention on the internet because of this case. Is that right?
Yes.
Very difficult you being here right now, testifying in this court.
Yes.
Is Albert Stauch, do you see him in the courtroom?
I do.
Seated in the front row in the gallery here?
Yes.
When Albert and your mom got married, where were you living?
Myrtle Beach.
And how long had you lived there before you moved to another place? Do you remember?
I do not remember the exact time. No.
In the beginning of Albert's and your mom's marriage, was Albert Stauch going to training a lot, and was he away from the house quite a bit because of his job?
Yes.
And were there often times where it'd be just you and your mom in the house while Albert was out training?
Yes.
Were there other times where it'd be you, your mom, and Lena and Gannon?
Only when he was like at work or training. Yeah.
How did your mom feel about, or do you know, did your mom ever talk to you about how she felt about Albert being gone all the time and being at training?
Yes. She wanted him to be home more, especially when we had the kids with us.
And did she tell you whether or not she liked being at home alone with the kids?
She did not know.
At some point, did you move to Charleston, South Carolina?
Yes, we did.
Why did you move to Charleston, South Carolina?
For their job purposes.
Whose jobs?
Both my mom and Albert. My mom wanted to teach at a new school, and Albert was able to find like a job position there too.
And did your mom tell you why she wanted to teach at a new school?
Just to get away from Myrtle Beach.
Did your mom want to move frequently?
Yes.
Was that pretty constant throughout your relationship with her?
Yes.
And so how long did you live in Charleston?
Not long, maybe a year, if that.
And where did you go from Charleston?
Back to Myrtle Beach.
And why did you go back to Myrtle Beach?
Because my mom didn't like being in Charleston.
And did she tell you that?
Yes.
And so were you having to switch schools from Myrtle Beach to Charleston and then back to Myrtle Beach?
Yes, so I actually went back to school as well when we stayed in Charleston too.
And did you end up graduating from high school early?
I did, yes.
Tell the jury about that. How'd that happen?
I eventually, when we moved to Alaska, I did online school. So I did 2 years of that. So I ended up doing 3 years of high school.
So you graduated essentially from being in Alaska doing online studies?
Yes.
And we're going to get there in a minute, okay?
Okay.
Do you remember how long you lived in Myrtle Beach the second time?
No.
Did you know whether or not your mom and Al Stauch actually bought a house in Myrtle Beach?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
Once we moved back, they bought a house there that we had over a course of time, also when we lived in Alaska.
Okay. And was that the first home that was purchased between Al and your mom?
Yes, that was purchased.
And at some point, did Albert Stauch get orders to go to Alaska?
Yes.
Were you in the home at that time?
Yes.
The home that you purchased?
Yes.
Tell us, the jury, about that. What were the circumstances? What was the plan for you and your mother and the kids when Albert was sent to Alaska to be stationed there?
Yeah, so he was stationed there. And we still had our house in Myrtle Beach, and we would go back and forth from being in Alaska and Myrtle Beach.
And when you say we, who are we talking about?
Me and my mom.
Do you know where the kids were at this point in time?
Sometimes they would be with us in Alaska, and sometimes they would be back in Myrtle Beach with their mom.
And did you know their mother, Landon?
Yes.
Had you met her on occasion?
Yes.
And you see her in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Sitting in the second row back here?
Yes.
Was this in the time frame around 2017, 2018 when Albert was?
Harley Hunt giving information to this jury about her life with her mom and her stepfather, all leading up to what happened in 2022. Her stepbrother, Gannon, will get you back into the courtroom where we left off on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
Tonight on Closing Arguments, all the biggest moments from week one of
Okay, let me fast forward this a little bit. I feel so bad for her on the stand. She does break down too, and it's just heartbreaking. I think I just need to fast forward it a little bit. They're talking about Lori Vallow there. Oh.
Are in Colorado this afternoon for the stepmother murder trial. Letecia Stauch is accused of stabbing and then shooting her 11-year-old stepson to death back in January of 2020. Stauch has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Right now on the stand is Harley Hunt, her adult daughter. We're going to get you back into the courtroom for more of her testimony. She was just starting to tell this jury about things that were happening in their home around 2017. The prosecution is eventually going to get up to 2020 when Gannon went missing.
And you said that you would go to Alaska on occasion and go back to Myrtle Beach. And you indicated it was you and your mom, right?
Correct.
How often would you guys go to Alaska?
We would stay in Alaska for like a month or so, and then we fly back to Myrtle Beach for a couple weeks and then fly back to Alaska.
Did you fully ever move to Alaska with your mother?
No.
And why is that?
Because we still had our house in Myrtle Beach, so we would go back and forth.
Did your mom ever talk to you about moving to Alaska?
What do you mean?
Well, did she ever tell you whether or not she liked being in Alaska?
Oh, she did not like being in Alaska, no.
And what did she tell you about that?
Because it was cold and she couldn't work there. And there was nothing to do.
At some point, were you up in Alaska with your mom and discussions were talked about moving to Colorado?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
I remember after like 3 or 4 years or so, Albert found out that he could move to Colorado and be stationed there. And we all were excited because it was better than being in Alaska.
Do you know whose idea that was?
My mom's.
And why do you say that?
Because there was an incident that happened in Alaska. I wasn't told much, but
Something that didn't want her or Albert to be in Alaska anymore?
Mhm.
You have to say yes or no. I'm sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, it's all right. And so talk about the move to Colorado. When this decision was made to go to Colorado, did you still have this house in Myrtle Beach?
We did at first, and then they sold the house. After it was sold, we drove everything to Colorado.
Did you have to fly back to Myrtle Beach and then drive across the country to Colorado?
Yes,
And was it Colorado Springs where you were going to?
yes.
What was Albert doing as all this was happening? Do you know?
Don't remember.
Was he still in Alaska?
I don't remember. I don't know.
That's fine. Do you remember moving into the house 6627 Mandan Drive here in Colorado Springs?
Yes.
When you moved in, was Albert with you initially?
No.
So tell the jury about that. When did Albert come to Colorado Springs to live with you and your mother?
So when we got to Colorado after driving there, the kids came at some point, and then a couple weeks later, Albert came.
And would this have been early 2019
Yes.
timeframe? Now, how long did you live in that house before Gannon's death? Do you remember?
A year. We moved in January 2019.
Was this year timeframe the first time that all of you were together during Albert and your mom's marriage?
Yes.
And first extended time for a year?
Yes.
Had you had an opportunity to see Albert and your mom together on numerous occasions?
Yes.
What was their relationship like? And I'm talking about when you're in Colorado, 2019 on.
It started to feel like we were a family again because everybody was there and like we were together.
Did they ever argue?
Yes.
How often would they argue?
Often,
And how do you know they were arguing?
because you could hear them arguing.
And what would you do when that would happen?
Anna or Lena would come ask me why they were arguing. So like they would just come in my room and I would turn the TV up or something because I didn't want them to have to listen to them argue.
Did you ever get pulled into these arguments?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
They would be arguing about something and then it would be like, well, isn't this true? Or like ask my opinion, try to get my say-so on it.
And who would ask you your opinion to get your say-so?
My mom.
Did you ever ask your mom, say, why do you pull me into these arguments to get my opinion?
Yeah, I just said like, I don't want to be a part of this.
And what did she say in response to that?
Would just keep asking and then they would keep arguing.
I want to go forward to January of 2020 now, right? Well, let me go back to Christmas of 2019. Did Gannon and Lena, were they with their mom during the holiday period?
Yes, I believe we celebrated Christmas early with them.
Did they go back to South Carolina to be with their mom over the holidays?
Yes.
Did they eventually come back?
Yes.
And would that have been now January 2020 when they came back to the house?
Yes.
Now, was your mom working here in Colorado?
Yes.
Where was she working?
At a school.
Do you remember what school?
I don't remember the name of it, no.
French Elementary sound familiar?
Yes.
Was that the school she was working at?
Yes.
In January of 2020, do you know whether or not Albert and your mom were planning to go on a cruise to celebrate their anniversary?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that.
It was a couple-day cruise that they were planning to go on. That was towards the end of the month.
Okay. And did they go on a cruise?
They did, yes.
Where did they go on this cruise? Do you know?
No.
What was going to happen with you and Lena and Gannon while they were gone on the cruise?
She hired a babysitter.
And did you know this babysitter?
No.
We do have to fit in a break, but let's first bring in to discuss our guests who are following along, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Marie Pereira and forensic criminologist Laura Petler.
Okay, I'm going to fast forward through this little part here. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I can turn on my camera while we're doing this. I just leave it off when we're watching the videos because I'm always texting in the chat, and I don't know why, but I'm always looking at that. I have a 32-inch monitor. It's huge, but I have vision only in one eye. So, and I use this instead of using the iPad, which I think would probably be better. But so sometimes I'm like squinting. So I'll be all up in the microphone. Let me go ahead and fast forward this though, get back to the testimony part. I don't know why Harley says to a lot of the questions though, let me pause that. I don't know why she says to a lot of the questions that the prosecutor's asking her, I don't know. I'm not sure. That's the only thing I'm not really like sure about why she's doing that. Because normally, like I said earlier in the live, the prosecution will prep their witness. They get their witnesses ready for them to be on the stand. And I'm sure they would prep her, especially because her mother is sitting there right in front of her. I I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but maybe nervous. Yeah, Cheryl could be like seeing her mom. And I think that maybe it's like a nervous thing, but she's getting like simple things kind of wrong. Like, where did your mother work? Like, what school? French elementary. I mean, I could tell you where my mom worked back when she was a teenager and I wasn't even born. But that's just me. You know. Or she don't remember. It's like, I don't know, I don't remember. And like, you know, the prosecution, they're not going to ask you a question that's not a yes or a no. Like, normally they prep you. You know what I mean? They don't want people to get up on the stand and say, I don't know, I'm not sure. Maybe it could have been. Did I say, if I said that, then yes. She does say that to the defense at one time. And the defense goes like, just like takes it. Like that was like her word. But she's like, I don't know. The prosecution, I think he should have stood up and objected to that. But I don't know if that was an objectable thing that he could have been. Elisa said it must be holy hell living with Letecia. Letecia. Yeah, Letecia. Yeah. Or she don't remember. Yeah, she could just simply not remember. But I think that trauma can cause memory loss. Put me up there and I'm like, they couldn't tell you my name. That was me and my mother, you know. She did great. She did great. Personally, I think she did great. She did way better than I would have. I would have been stumbling over my words. I would have been needed 3 years to prep, you know. Just looking at Letecia on the screen just makes me sick. She is, Mariska said she's been so manipulated by her mom, and now being around her must trigger a lot of anxiety going through the roof. I couldn't even imagine. I feel like I'm feeling it for her now. So, you know, I mean, it's really sad. It's very sad. I think that this isn't today's. So, yeah, okay. I'll say that's not today. Are they going to go back? Or are they just talking about the case now? Let me see. Oh, no, they are. There we go.
And you were how old at the time?
Oh, thank you so
17.
much, Jan.
And had you
Hold on,
watched
let
the
me get your
kids
comment.
before?
Yes.
Let me read it before we get back to here. So, thank you, Jan, so much. You're so sweet. Thank you. The state brings it up that she has a lawyer and can't ask things. Oh. That she has a lawyer and they can't ask things. Oh, I didn't hear that part. Oh, yeah. The defense was a whole new ballgame with her, I felt like. And the prosecution was so nice with her. Like, they were very, very, very sweet. But, like, the defense wasn't as sweet. I feel like it would have been, like, the opposite a little bit, but maybe not because she was saying stuff about her mother. But the defense was kind of hard on her, I thought, a little bit. I didn't really like that, the way that they treated her on the stand. When you're not living with your abuser, it's sort of kind of doable, resetting your patterns and stuff. But when the second you're in the same room with them again, yep, all that goes straight out the window. You're exactly right. And if she's known, her mother is known to do things so manipulative her whole life and get away with it, to where she's probably like, is she going to be able to get away with this? Is she going to come after me? Am I next? Why didn't she do this to me? Why didn't she do this to me? Maybe that's what she's thinking. Maybe she's thinking of her childhood, like when she, you know how kids act up, and they do. We all did it. Maybe she's like, oh my gosh, why didn't she do that to me that time I knocked a candle over? Or maybe there was a certain incident that was similar in nature, you know? And maybe she's thinking like, why didn't she do that to me? I mean, I would be.
Had you watched the kids overnight before?
Yes.
How did that, did you ever ask your mom, why are you getting a babysitter? I'm here.
Yeah.
How'd she respond to that?
I don't remember. I just remember being like really upset about it.
Do you remember this babysitter's name?
No.
Had you ever seen her before?
No.
Have you ever seen her after?
No.
When they get back from the cruise, how long were they gone? Do you remember?
I think it was the weekend. Weekend.
So was it a 3-day weekend or a long weekend, or was it just Saturday, Sunday?
I don't remember exactly.
When they come back, how was Albert's and your mom's relationship at that time?
It seemed fine. I think his mom came to visit after that too.
When you say his mom, are you talking about Albert's mom?
Albert's mom, yes.
And how long did she stay?
Only a few days.
On January 25th of 2020, did Albert have to go to another training?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that. Do you know where he was going?
I think it was Oklahoma.
And do you know how long he was to be gone?
No.
Was it longer than a couple days?
Yes.
Was it longer than a week?
I don't know.
Okay, not a problem. So, do you remember when he actually left to go on that training?
You mean like the exact day or?
Yeah, if you do you know?
No. It was like close to the time that his mom came. It was like a couple days after, I think.
Did he leave with his mom when he went to the training?
I don't remember.
Why don't we do it this way? Do you remember January 26th of 2020?
Yes.
And was that the day that you were supposed to go on a hike with your mother, Gannon, and Lena?
Yes.
Did Albert leave the day before?
I don't remember.
Okay. I don't remember, that's fine. Was Albert Stauch there on the day that you were going to go on a hike?
No.
So was he in Oklahoma or on his way to Oklahoma, or do you know?
Yes.
You just don't know when he left.
Right.
Is that fair? All right. So January 26, 2020, that's a Sunday. You recall that?
Yes.
Did you recall going to church with your mother and Gannon and Lena? that
No, we
Sunday?
did not.
And is that something you would remember if you did go to church that day?
Yes.
And on January 26, 2020, were you scheduled to go to work that day?
No, I was not scheduled.
Did you go to work that day?
Yes, I got called in.
And tell the jury about that. Where were you working and why did you get called in?
I was working at Massage Envy. And I think they were like short staffed or somebody called out. That's why I got called in.
And was that unusual?
No.
Would other employees get called in kind of last second if someone calls in sick, that kind of thing?
Yes.
And what Massage Envy were you working at back in January of 2020?
First in Maine.
Where is that within the city? Do you know?
It's near like shopping complexes. I don't remember exactly where it was or road names or anything.
Is it in the northern part of the city?
Yes.
Off of the Powers Drive over
Yes.
there? Okay. How long would it take you to get to work?
25, 30 minutes.
And you were living on kind of the south side of the city.
Right.
All right. So you go to work that day, so obviously you didn't get to go on the hike. Do you know whether or not your mom and Gannon and Lena went on a hike?
They did.
How do you know that?
She told me and I got sent pictures.
And whose idea was it to go on this hike? Do you remember?
No.
But it was a planned event where you were actually going to go on it as well.
Right.
Did your mom tell you anything about what had happened on the hike, in particular with Gannon, while they're out at the hike?
Yes. She said that he had used the bathroom like in his pants, so they had to leave, go home.
And how were you communicating with her?
Through text.
And do you know where they went to go on a hike?
I think it was Garden of the Gods, but I could be wrong. I don't remember.
Your may approach a witness.
You may.
I'm gonna hand you what's been marked at 2:05. Do you guys? I don't know who's doing.
I wanted to address your comment, Jan, just because I didn't know that they had her shackled at the ankle. That's why she was next to the wall. Well, that's a stupid place to put that shackle, shackle thing. You know what all that is, right? It's just a metal piece. You can get it at freaking Lowe's. 2 bolts, probably maybe 4. And it's like a little metal, hook kind of thing. And then you just latch the thing onto it. So why didn't somebody go to Home Depot before the trial started? Because if that was me, I would want to be sat between my lawyers anywho. I wouldn't have been wanting to be on that edge. I wouldn't have been wanting to be on there. That looked weird to me. So I would have been like, someone needs to go to Home Depot and go get a drill and just zoop, 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 zoop. And then you could move her wherever you want in the courtroom. You could put her front row and center. Just put a tablecloth over her legs so you can't see she's shackled. Because, technically the jury's not supposed to see the shackles, so. But technically, an 11-year-old little boy shouldn't be dead right now. So that's what I think about that. Little dinosaur. I think the dinosaur's so funny now. You got a gift sub. Yes, you did. We love that. Her lawyers didn't want cooties. They probably were afraid of freaking jail lice. You want to be real. So why not see the shackle? So they do that just like they don't want you to wear like your prison, uniform into court. They don't want the jury to see that and automatically think that you're guilty, kind of you see something, like if you see that she, for instance, is in her prison uniform, they may be like, oh, look at her, she's already in it, she's guilty. So that's why they wanted her to wear street clothes, because in the beginning of the trial, she wasn't even going to wear street clothes. She wanted to wear her prison clothes. So they did toxicology on Gannon, and they found hydrocodone in his system. We found that out last week. The coroner went and took the stand. So he had acetaminophen, in his system, like Tylenol or whatever, and then he had hydrocodone, which is Vicodin, which doesn't belong in an 11-year-old's liver. So she was giving it to him for a minute too, if it was in his liver, I'm assuming. And I think that that's why he was having the constipation and the problems with using the bathroom. So I'll go ahead and play this again, but we're almost finished with this video. Oh, let me turn back on.
My approach on?
You may, go ahead.
I'm going to hand you People's Exhibit 205, which is a notebook. Recognize that notebook?
Yes.
Do you have an opportunity to look at that last night?
Yes.
And do you know what that notebook is?
Yes.
And what is it?
It's text messages between my mom and I.
And are those text messages between January 25th, 2020 at 3:42 p.m. all the way January 29th, 2020 to 4:27 p.m.?
Yes.
And does those text messages in that notebook accurately reflect the conversations that you were having with your mom via text messages during that time period?
Yes.
This time we move to admit People's Exhibit 205.
Okay. Exhibit 205 will be admitted. Go ahead.
Now, in People's Exhibit 205, we're going to publish that and go through them, okay, Ms. Hunt? Would that help you kind of establish a timeline as to when conversations are being made?
Yes.
You can go ahead and publish 205, please. And Ms. Hunt, you can either look at the notebook
Okay.
or the TV screen, whatever's easier for you. So on the first page, we see a text on January 25th at 9:09 p.m. Do you see that?
Yes.
And do you know what that's regarding?
Something about our dogs.
Now, for the jury's benefit, there's a blue bubble and a green bubble up on the screen. Who is the blue bubble referenced to?
I am the blue bubble.
So that's coming from your phone?
Yes.
And the green bubble?
My mom.
And this, what we see on the screen behind us looks like a picture. See that?
Yes.
What is that picture of, you know?
Of one of our dogs.
And do you know why it says maybe Nicole there on the green bubble?
Do not.
But you know that's your mom's phone number, right?
Yes.
And so do you remember having this conversation with her back on the 25th?
Yes.
The next message says they are saying it may have been his daughters. Do you remember what that was a reference to?
No.
Is this about the same time when Kobe Bryant, the basketball player, died in a helicopter accident?
Yes.
We have reached the top of the hour, so we do have to squeeze in a break, but we will get you right back into that Colorado Springs courtroom for more testimony.
I saw the Ashley's comment. Yeah, it seems like he was torturing him for enjoyment. Yep. I think the more I think about it, the more it maybe because he was a boy. I mean, she's not even good with men. She probably wasn't good with an 11-year-old little boy. She's, because she's want to be buddy with, Harley, Lena. I don't know if you call her Lana or Lena, but I call her both. It seems like, I know I get her name wrong. But Lena, I think she was torturing him. I think that she was. So a lot of people were questioning why Gannon's bedroom was in the basement. Personally, I think that he was the only other guy in the house. Al was gone a lot. I think that he wanted to be like a big boy and he wanted his bedroom down there. And Al was like, okay, I'm going to give him this. It's my basement. It's my kid, I'm going to let him sleep in the basement because Al probably did give him responsibilities when he was gone. When he would take those trips for work and stuff. He probably did give him that little talk when he would leave. Like, hey, Gannon, you're the man of the house. Make sure you take care of the women. And Gannon being Gannon and being so precious, and you hear it throughout the testimony today from Harley, I think he took that job seriously. And I think that when Letecia abused him, I think he thought that he was doing something wrong. And I think he also didn't want to tell his dad because he wanted to still feel like he was like a big boy and could handle it in a way. Because kids do that. They try to handle situations that are too grown up for them to even consider handling. And then on the flip side of that, when Al and Letecia would get in arguments, Letecia would text her daughter, Harley, showing her the screen messages or bringing her into the fights and saying, well, what do you think? You don't do that to a kid. You don't bring them into an adult situation like that. I mean, that is just too incredible. Arlene, I think that you're right. I think that both of his kids did. And I think that she didn't like that. Now, I think that she was probably going to buddy up with, his sister. Yeah, well, he was 4'9", 90 pounds, so he was small, but he was a preemie. So when he was born, he was only 1 pound, 7 ounces, I believe. But for his age, I think he was a pretty decent sized kid. I mean, for being a preemie, but he was little. He was very little. I mean, you could see when they brought the suitcase in, how big it was. Both of your brothers had bedrooms in the basement, Tony? My best friend had a whole basement to herself, and it was they had $1 million mansion. It was huge, and the basement was immaculate. It was beautiful. Prettier than my parents' whole house. Yep, Summer, you're right. You're so right. Oh my gosh, you changed your picture. I just noticed that. Look at you having fun in the ocean. Where's that at? Because, I know that's not New South Carolina ocean. Or I'm leaving there tomorrow. I love your new picture. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm going to have to change mine, I think. Not this one. I mean, my other one. My other picture. I'll have to change that one soon. So I do have another video. It's for from court from today. I don't think that it'll go over the same stuff that we just heard. but we'll go over it. So yeah, this is a lot. Oh yeah, no, this video will go over how like her aunt was helping her, you know, with a vehicle and stuff. And then as soon as like Harley kind of started talking with the state and the prosecutors, her aunt decided no more help for you. So that's just so sad. Daniel Island, Charleston? Really? That's in South Carolina? That looks so blue. I've never even heard of that place before. Now I gotta write that down. Vincent, are you listening to this? I want to go to Daniel Island. Look at me writing stuff down. I want to go there. I'm like, that's gorgeous. I've never been there. I've only been to Myrtle Beach, and that was forever ago. I mean, like when I was like a kid. Well, me and Vincent stopped there on our way back one night just to like take a break and sleep. But yeah. I know. Me too, Stevie. Actually, like even like girls that had like, because my best friend had like the basement and she had like, it was like a whole house down there. I'm like, I know when I was younger, like the kids that like slept in the basement, they were the cool kids. Probably because they could sneak out and stuff. Faster and easier than we could. So this is some more of Harley's testimony. I was trying to look at Letecia's hand right there, but she does have her hand up in the video, but I don't know if we'll be able to see anything from this one. But I did see that she was flipping people off again. Oh, have a good night, honey hush. We're on usually every night at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard
when she
Time.
took-
Sorry. And then sometimes during the day too. Sometimes I get bored and I want to come on during the day, but I don't know if you guys are on or not. Maybe I'll just do it one day and we'll see. Yeah, it was beautiful too. It was like, I mean, it wasn't like a base. So it's not like Summer Wells case basement. You know what I mean? Not like dungeon basement. We're talking furnished, beautiful. And I also believe that Harley stated today that her room was in the basement, which I didn't know that. I thought that her room was always upstairs. But she did say that her room was in the basement. She slept upstairs the night of all of this, like the fire and all of this, because of the smell. And that it was cold down there. So, yes, please like, subscribe, and all of that fun stuff. Please do that. That'd be great for us. We love you here. You got on a boat today and you're burnt. I miss that feeling of being burnt. Yeah, Arlene, I'm pretty sure, yeah, she was flipping people off again. Yeah, judge didn't see it because no one addressed it. I love the beach. We have no beaches in Ohio. Well, we have like, what is that place called? Where's my Ohio people at? What's that little island? Put-in Bay. But that's not really like the ocean. You're a Cancer, you love the water, Cheryl. My mom was a Cancer. She loved the water too. That's exactly how she would have said it.
Put your car back and stop providing you with funds.
Yes.
And you're in college, you're in nursing school, right?
Yes.
Were you working at the time?
Yes.
Now, when you made the post about losing both parents, what did you mean?
I lost both my parents. It was like one day you wake up and your whole life changed. I lost my stepdad and I lost my mom and my brother. I lost everybody.
Were you trying to imply that your mom had died?
No.
Were you just stating the fact that she was arrested and you hadn't seen her since she's been arrested?
Yes.
Counsel asked you several questions about not smelling anything in the van. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Did your mom do anything to prevent you from smelling anything in the van as you were driving?
Yes. She always kept the air on. I remember a time when I was cold and I tried to turn it off and she was like, no, it's hot in here. And we also like kept giving the dog like little like CBD treats to keep them calm.
And you're driving in into January, early February through Texas. Was it cold in Texas?
I don't remember. It wasn't like hot and sunny though.
Mr. Tellini asked you on cross-examination that you would have never dreamed that your mom would have done something bad to Gannon. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
What do you think about that now as you sit in this courtroom?
I'm still in shock. I defended her for years, and I just feel like manipulated and lied to.
And when we start,
Hey guys, when did because I just started following this case when she was sort of like right before Letecia kind of was going to court and stuff. We started covering this case. But what was going to be my question to you guys? Oh, when did Letecia change her verdict? Does anyone, I bet Teresa knows this. When did Letecia, here's a trivia question, change her verdict from not guilty to, not guilty by reason of insanity? Because I'm just wondering how long she strung along Harley before, you know what I mean, before Harley knew for sure that her mom did this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when her mom changed that verdict, or her plea is when? 2 years ago? And it's still this hard for her. Oh, my lordy. That's just... And she didn't have to do this to her daughter. She didn't have to put her daughter on that stand. She could have just pled guilty because she is freaking guilty and could have went to jail like where she belongs, to a prison. And her daughter and Al and Landon and Lana and all of those people, but especially her daughter, wouldn't have to relive this shit. It's just ridiculous to me. Oh, I'm so glad she didn't turn out like her mom either. And my heart breaks for her. And she's doing good. She is doing good though. Like, I mean, this isn't, this is like not, she didn't have a good day today. But I heard that she has like a really sweet boyfriend. I've seen like her TikTok or something, like her Instagram or TikTok or something. And she seems to have like a little fun on there. So, I hope she can, Hey, Ina, where you been? Ina comes in here and I'm like, where you been, Ina? So I'm going to go ahead and play this video again for us. But
started out your testimony this morning, you talked about learning about how your father actually died. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Is that what we're talking about? The manipulation that's been going on for years is finally coming to your realization?
Yes.
And do you remember when you were talking to us back in August, the questions I was asking you about why we were considering filing charges on you?
Yes.
Do you remember me asking you, what would you explain to a jury about driving across country with a body in a suitcase in the back of that van? What would you tell the jury? Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Tell this jury whether or not you knew that Gannon's body was back in that van and why.
The thought just never came across my mind. I just never thought my mom would do that. I didn't see her to be the person to do that. So I never even questioned it. Like, it just never came up.
And what would happen if you did question it?
She would just say, don't question me, saying it was back talking her.
Mr. Tellini was asking you questions about any relationships between the time your father and her separated and divorced by the time that she married Albert Stauch. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Did your mom date anybody or go out with anyone in between that time period?
Yes.
You remember who she went out with and for how long?
There was Travis.
Do you know Travis's last name?
No.
Do you know where you were living when she dated Travis?
Myrtle Beach.
And how long did they date?
It felt like a while, year or two.
Mr. Cellini asked you about a hospitalization at some point. Do you recall that question?
Yes.
You initially said that you thought that your mom was in the hospital because she had cancer. You remember
Yes.
cancer?
Yes.
Who told you that your mom had cancer?
I remember her saying she had ovarian cancer when we lived in Charleston.
Who said that?
My mom.
And was she telling you that because why? Why didn't she tell you that?
I don't know.
Were you asking what the heck you're doing in the hospital?
Yeah.
And her answer was, I have ovarian cancer.
Yeah, I remember.
You ever bring up ovarian cancer again with you?
No.
Mr. Cellini asked you questions about suicides and your mom talking about suicide. You recall those questions?
Yes.
He asked you on 2 different events, right?
Yes.
You remember one of those events being in Alaska?
Yes.
Tell the jury about that. How did that come up? What was said? What was the circumstances surrounding what was said?
Yeah, so I remember I was in my room, and she was like, come eat, that's your last dinner with me. And I was like, what do you mean? And then she was like, it's already too late, like I took them. And then I was just like, what? And I remember crying and I was like, what do you mean? And then we went and had dinner and then it was never talked about again.
And was this at a time when she was telling you that she didn't want to be in Alaska? She had nothing to do with Alaska, wanted to move from Alaska.
Yes.
What do you think about what she said to you now?
What do you mean?
Was that a form of manipulation, as you indicated earlier?
Yes.
Had you ever seen her try to hurt herself?
No.
And the other time she talked about suicide, was this related to the hospitalization that she said she was in for ovarian cancer?
Yes.
Did you consider that to be a form of manipulation?
Yes.
Mr. Cellini asked you questions about the cell phone and the cell phone text messages that are entered in People's Exhibit 205. Do you remember reading those? And it says, for her phone, it says maybe Nicole.
Yes.
For yours, it says daughter. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you know why that says maybe Nicole?
No, I do not.
Do you know whether or not your mom actually programmed her name into the phone?
No, I do not.
Okay. Are you familiar with iPhones and what comes up if you don't program it with your name in there and things?
Do you mean like when you have to set the iPhone up?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So what happens if you never set the iPhone up with your name in there?
You can't use it.
Well, would your name come up?
Yes.
Or would it be something maybe? Would it be maybe somebody?
Sustained.
Okay.
I'm not sure that this is the right witness for that.
Do you know why that her phone said maybe Nicole in text messages?
No.
Sustained.
You talked about your mom quitting jobs on several occasions, especially the teaching jobs. Do you remember that testimony on cross?
Yes.
Did she ever tell you why she was quitting these teaching jobs?
Yes.
What did she tell you?
I was told that she wanted to work, and then when she would work, Albert would be mad at her that she wasn't watching the kids, and then when she would watch the kids and not be working, he would be mad at her for not working.
Did she ever mention to you that she was being sexually harassed at school and she didn't want to work there anymore, things like that?
I heard that when I was younger.
Who did you hear that from?
I don't know. I was in like middle or elementary school.
Did you hear it from your mom?
I don't remember.
Is that a common theme with your mom when she doesn't want to be somewhere? Something happens that is causing her to quit her job and move somewhere else.
It happened in Alaska.
Mr. Tonini asked you about January 26, 2020 in the morning and whether or not anyone went to church. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Did you not in fact go to work in the afternoon around 2 o'clock in the afternoon that day?
Sorry, I'm like forgetting times. There's been so many times. Yes.
Let me ask you this. Would your mom drive a vehicle to church?
Yes.
And would it be either Albert's truck or her Tiguan that she drove to church?
Yes.
Would that be on one of the ring videos in the neighborhood? If they actually went to church that day, you'd see the vehicles leaving and going to church.
Yes.
Do you remember changing your clothes on January 27th, 2020 when you got off of work and then went to the Dollar Tree with Lena?
No, I don't remember.
If you went down to the basement and you went, would you go into Gannon's room for any reason?
No.
Go into the storage room for any reason?
No.
Went to the basement, would you just go to your room, change, and then go back up?
Correct. Yes.
Did you ever go into Gannon's room on January 27th, 2020?
No.
Did you ever go into the storage room on that day?
No.
Mr. Tonini was asking you questions about the Taco Bell and after the hospital. Remember, he was asking about the voice that your mother was telling you these things about rambling and words to that effect. You remember that?
Yes.
Was she telling you why she left the hospital?
Yeah, she was. I remember something being mentioned about the hospital workers and like the story of what happened.
Was she explaining that she was being treated unfairly and she actually ran away from the hospital?
I remember her saying she was treated unfairly.
Is that why you had to go pick her up at a Taco Bell instead of the hospital?
Yes.
Did she tell you that?
Which part?
Why you had to pick her up at the Taco Bell?
I don't remember.
Your mom is quite the talker. When she starts talking, she goes nonstop, right?
Yes.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Was that unusual to you? Have you seen her on numerous occasions basically talk nonstop?
Yes.
Did you ever, whether it's January 27th or January 28th or January 29th, clean up any blood at 6627 Mandan Drive?
No, I did not.
If you had, would you have been telling this jury that?
Yes.
Did you ever see any blood on Gannon's wall in his bedroom?
No, I did not.
Did you see any blood in the storage room on the floor?
No, I did not.
Did you see any blood in the basement area at all?
No, I did not.
Could you smell any cleaning down in the basement?
Our house always smelled clean.
Why is that?
My mom was like a neat freak, so she always wanted everything clean.
If you would have known Gannon's body was in the back of that van and you were talking to Agent Cohen back here, would you have told him that?
Yes.
You would have known that he was in that van when the FBI came out to South Carolina to talk to you about Gannon's body being found on March 17th, 2020. Would you have told him that?
Yes.
Do you know now that Gannon's body was in that van as you drove across the country?
Yes.
Was your mom pretty athletic?
Yes.
Was she capable of lifting heavy objects?
Yes.
Overruled.
Do you know how much Gannon weighed?
He was little, so he didn't weigh a lot.
Was your mom capable of carrying his body in a suitcase, picking it up and throwing over a bridge rail in Pensacola, Florida?
Yes.
Is that easy for you to say?
No.
You still love your mother? I'll strike that, Your Honor.
All right.
I have no further questions.
Do any of the jurors have any questions for me, son? Looks like we have a couple. Mr. Young, if you would retrieve those and counsel approach, please.
I hate when they mute it. It's like, we won't tell anybody. You can tell us. These are great questions, Mindy. I think I'm going to play the defense's side after we're done with this one, because it's not, the defense isn't very long. And then I think the prosecution like goes back, and we can even do it at like 1.25 speed because they are kind of slow with the questions. But I think the way the defense is, they're mean to her. And thank you, Ina, for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Hope your dad's doing well. We was talking about you not being in the chat the other night. We were wondering where you were. No, sir, I don't like it. I don't like it either. I wish they would just let us listen in a little bit. That was hard to hear, Mike. Yeah. This poor girl. How old is Harley now? Was she 17 when it happened? So like 20 now? Or was she 18 when it happened? I don't know. I feel bad for her though. She seems like a sweet girl that doesn't want to see her mom go into prison, but then again doesn't want to she wants to get justice for Gannon. She was 17, Teresa, she's 20 now. Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, I know, but man, we wouldn't tell nobody, Teresa. I know they gotta keep them private, but we wouldn't tell. Nah, I probably would. I've told all you guys. Oh, my leg has got a cramp in it. Oh, I've been getting cramps really bad lately. I must be dehydrated a little bit. Man, they're still really going. Maybe I should fast forward a little bit.
You see
Oh, okay. There we go.
a large green.
Let me go back a little bit.
Ms. Hunt, did you see a large green suitcase loaded into the second van?
No.
The night when your mom asked, sorry, Jess, the night when your mom asked you to go down with her to say goodnight to Gannon, do you have a specific recollection of seeing any part of his body, like his hands, face, or any part of his actual skin?
I remember seeing his head.
The morning of the first day in Pensacola, Florida, when you left the hotel, do you recall if the van was in a different parking spot than where you had parked it when you checked in?
I don't remember.
So let me rephrase that a little bit. So when you got there, the van's parked and you check in. You come out the next morning, is it in the same spot or in a different spot?
I don't remember where we parked. I just know we would always park towards the back of the hotel.
Okay. During your time living in Colorado Springs home with the other kids, Gannon and Lena, did it appear to you that Gannon was treated more strict or more unfair than anyone else by the defendant, your mom?
No.
All right. I will allow reasonable follow-up as to those questions only. Prosecution?
We would request to publish People's Exhibit 48 that's already in the evidence. Ms. Hunt, if you can look at the TV screen, this is People's Exhibit 48. Do you recognize the suitcase that we see in that exhibit?
Yes,
How do you recognize that suitcase?
I remember it from like moving from like Alaska or anytime we would move.
Had you ever seen that during the time periods that we've been talking about? January 27th, January 28th, January 29th, all the way up to February 4th.
No,
Those are my questions.
Defense? All right, thank you, Ms. Hunt. You may step down. Watch your step. It's okay, go ahead. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to end a little bit early today. So
Is when she
And that is when that's when, I don't know if you saw the end of the jury today, but that's when the judge was like, peace. So we did see the end of the prosecution's part there, but we didn't see any, I don't think, of the defense. So I'll go ahead and play that. So, yeah, she didn't look at her she didn't look at her the whole time. She hasn't been looking at her. I don't know if I would be able to not look. She's doing great. Yeah, first time she'll be free of her mother's evil. Yeah, he was like, outie, bye. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. One of those types. He was ready to go home for the evening. He needed to decompress after having to deal with Letecia. Oh, and I did find, it looks like, tell me if she's flipping the bird here. I can't tell if that's 2 fingers up or just 1. I didn't see that, Arlene. Al ran to her when she got off the stand. That's heartbreaking. Probably because he heard how she talked about him being like a father figure. And maybe he never thought of that. Maybe he never thought of himself like, maybe he never knew that she thought of him that way. I'm not saying Leticia's dumb, but she's the type of person that grabs the water stream when she slips in the shower. I hope she does that in jail. Kind of looks like she's flipping the bird, but I can't tell. That's funny. Oh man, that's funny. Make my eye water. Make my eyes water. I think I got it. Yeah, okay. I was trying to fast forward through so we could get it right to where we needed to be. So this is when the defense goes up. And you can just see like the different, you can see the different like way that they question her. I think they're rude personally, but she stands her ground. I like her on this. I like it. She's not as,
You guys,
I'm sorry. She is not as sad. You know what I mean? Like when she talks to the defense compared to when she's talking to the prosecution. So I figured we could watch it. It's not too long. I'm actually going to set it, I think on like a little bit playback, just like 1.25. We'll see how that goes.
Days, I'm going to shift back. And so, sorry, back when you guys would go to Alaska, you guys would go for a couple weeks up to a month at a time.
yes,
And your mom did not like Alaska.
yes,
You remember a time that your mom came down and said that this was going to be the last dinner with you and her,
yes,
and that it was too late. She'd already taken them.
yes,
And that to you imply that she was contemplating suicide.
yes,
And then the next day she acted like nothing happened.
yes.
Was that unusual?
That was the second time that she had done that. So Charleston and then.
Okay. Did she ever discuss either of those things with you?
No,
Like afterwards?
No.
Explain what was going on?
no,
I'll move up to January 26th, 2020. Okay. That Sunday morning, you got called into Massage Envy pretty early, right?
Yes, I remember it being like that morning, that day. Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have any personal knowledge if your mom tried to take Gannon and Lena to church that day?
No, I just know that I didn't go to church that day.
And then you got home and your mom was telling you about the fire and everything like that?
Yes.
And you could smell from that, you could smell that there was burning
Yes.
that occurred down in the basement? You testified early or this morning that when you came home and you were talking with your mom, that your mom was scared.
Yes.
What was she scared of?
She said that she was scared of like Gannon because he was acting weird.
Okay. You then went and you went down in the basement and say goodnight to Gannon. You both went down together.
Yes.
And do you remember your mom asking Gannon if he was all right?
I don't remember.
Do you remember, that letter that was given to you, that proffer letter? You came in and then you did an interview? You remember doing the interview?
Yes.
You did it with Mr. Young and Agent Cohen there?
Yes.
You remember telling them that your mom asked if Gannon was all right and Gannon nodded his head?
I don't remember. I just remember like saying goodnight and like seeing him. I don't remember what I said.
Yeah, but do you remember your mom asking if he was all right and he nods his head yes?
Yes, if that's what I said.
Okay. And then you left that morning for work around 8 because you had to be there by 8:30?
Yes, sometime around that time.
Did you see Gannon before you left?
Not that I remember, no.
Do you remember again back when your mom was arrested in South Carolina?
Yes.
And that would have been in March of 2020?
Yes.
So pretty closer in time to the events in question?
Yes.
You recall telling Agent Cohen that you had seen Gannon in the morning and they helped you with the dogs?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. You got home around 4:30
Which day?
on Monday, the 27th.
Yes.
And we saw you went in the house there.
Yes.
You actually, when you left that morning, how were you dressed?
In my work clothes, we wore my work clothes.
Okay. And so you have like, it's like a kind of a maroon shirt from Massage Envy?
No,
What does the uniform look like from Massage Envy?
it's black, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. And they have special pants or just a shirt?
No, there was no special pants.
And you actually went downstairs and changed out of your uniform into a blue sweatshirt.
I don't remember.
If the dollar store video shows that you were no longer in your Massage Envy uniform, but in a blue sweatshirt, that would seem to indicate when you came home that you went downstairs to change, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Okay. So do you remember now going downstairs to change or no?
No, I don't remember.
I sped it up, Ina. Is it too fast for you guys? Let me know if it's too fast. I just put it at 1.25. But let me know and I can always slow it back down. But yeah, no, I sped up the defense part.
At no point did your mom try to prevent you from going downstairs.
No.
And when you came home that Monday, the house still smelled like smoke.
I don't remember if it did that Monday. I know that it did when I came home on Sunday.
Okay. And you took Elena to the dollar store with you?
Yes.
How long were you guys gone?
This question was asked earlier. I don't remember what time we exactly said.
Okay.
Yeah.
How far away was the dollar store?
Down the street.
Okay. And then were you in there for a super long time or pretty?
It was just we went there and came home.
Okay. And then when you came home, let me ask you this. Did you get home from the dollar store before 6?
No, I don't remember what time I got home.
Okay. When you got home, was your mom already concerned because Gannon wasn't home yet?
I just remember like time being approached and he wasn't there.
Okay. And then I kind of understood that initially you guys all go out to look for Gannon and then your mom comes home and stays home. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So initially your mom, you and Lena are all going kind of some different friend's house to see if he's there.
Yes.
How long does that take?
They lived in the neighborhood, so we were just driving around the neighborhood. So I don't know the exact time, but it didn't take forever.
Had your mom called the police before you guys went and started looking for Gannon?
No, I don't think she did.
Okay, so after you guys go, look, can't find Gannon, that's when she then calls the police.
I remember her calling Albert. So it was like after then. So
Okay. And it takes a long time for the police to come.
yes.
And mom's not appearing. Is she appearing unusual during this time?
No, I mean, she seemed worried like anyone would.
And so you've known your mom your entire life.
Yes.
You guys have grown up very close.
Yes.
And at this point in time, while you're observing her, she seems legitimately worried for Gannon.
Yes.
How long did you guys stay up after the police came? Do you remember? After the sheriff came?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. And then that next Tuesday is when Al comes back home. Right.
Yes.
And other people start arriving. You have people from the military come over. People are expressing concern. People are bringing food.
Yes.
People are trying to set up searches for Gannon.
Yes.
There's a lot of traffic in and out of the house.
Yes.
Then at some point later that evening, some members of the sheriff's department come over.
Yes.
And they're there. One, they're there to get Lena. They're going to take her down to the police station.
Yes.
And they also try to talk to you.
Yes.
And you tell them that you will not talk about Gannon.
Yes.
And you said you won't talk about Gannon because of all the stories on Facebook
Yes.
and because they already have all the information they need.
Yes.
When you say you wouldn't talk to them because of all the stories on Facebook, what do you mean?
There were just people and their speculation, and it was to my knowledge that my parents had already given them everything that they needed. So I didn't know why I played a role in it.
Okay. And you actually refused to talk to both. We refused to actually talk to about 3 different sheriff's deputies. Refused to talk to Deputy Arndt or Detective Arndt. You refused to talk to Detective Perry, and you refused to talk to Detective Williams. Is that correct?
I don't know their names.
Okay, but you remember refusing to talk to 3 different ones?
I remember refusing to talking to some.
Okay. You said that going on to the next day, when you picked your mom up from the hospital, that she was talking weird. What did you mean by that?
What do you mean?
You said that you picked her up from the hospital and stuff was just coming out of her mouth. What did you mean?
Just saying stuff from what happened at the hospital, just saying like events that took place.
And maybe I misunderstood. I gathered that you found the way that she was talking when you picked her up from the hospital odd. Is that incorrect?
Odd as in like it was just like a bunch of like ramble at once. It was just going on and on.
Like vomiting up words?
Yes.
Okay. You know what tangential thoughts are?
What did you say? Tangent thoughts?
Tangential, where a person jumps between subject matter to subject matter to subject matter with not necessarily a logical connection. Was that how she was speaking?
No, because it just all related to Gannon being missing and people accusing her, and so they all correlated in some way.
Okay. But you found the manner in which he was presenting you that information was different than normal.
Yes.
Okay. When you leave, then in that van, when did she first say that you guys were going to Florida?
Different places were, said. I don't think we decided on Florida until after we got to Texas.
Okay. And you guys are going to Texas because she thought that might be a good place to live? Is that what
Yes.
she told you? Did you say where in Texas may be a good place to live?
I think it was Dallas or Houston.
Okay. And you drove that first day all the way from Colorado Springs to Amarillo?
Yes.
That's about 10 and a half hours?
Yes.
Okay. You got into Amarillo. And then the next day you went from Amarillo to Decatur, Texas, correct?
Yes.
That's only a 4.5 hour long drive, isn't it?
I don't know.
You know what you did the rest of that day?
No.
You talked about your mom making reservations at these different hotels.
Yes.
She was actually making those reservations with an app, wasn't she?
I remember some of her reservations were through a call. remember them calling because she needed to get her IHG number.
She didn't have an app on her phone for that?
I don't remember if the phone that she had was a smartphone.
Okay. And then you got up. And then when was it decided? So was it decided in Amarillo or in Decatur that Texas wasn't for you two?
I don't know because I don't know where they're like in proximity to Houston and like Texas. Like Houston and like Dallas.
Well, Decatur would be just outside of Dallas.
Okay.
I mean, was it between Amarillo and Decatur that you guys were talking in the car and said, not Texas? Or was it that morning when you woke up in Decatur, said, let's head out for Florida? When was the decision made to go from Texas to Pensacola?
I don't know which state it was in, but like, or which city it was in. I just remember us being in Texas and decided,
Can you remember, was it before the first hotel or the second hotel?
I don't know.
Okay. And then when you were driving from Decatur to Pensacola, did you guys drive around along the coast?
I know that Destin is on the coast, so
Okay. And you drove through Louisiana?
if that's on the route to Florida.
Do you remember driving through long stretches of the country that were marshy and swampy with nothing else around?
I remember driving through like the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah, the middle of nowhere, lots of marshes, lots of just nothing around.
Yes.
Remember that?
Nothing around, trees.
And so you get to Pensacola and you check in the hotel. And that night you guys actually slept in the same bed.
Yes.
Okay. And while you're sleeping in the same bed with your mother, you don't recall her ever leaving.
No.
And you're saying at no point in time, so you guys are, let me back this up. You guys are in the van for that first day when you leave, when you go from Colorado Springs to Amarillo. How long were you in the van for?
That day.
Okay, so all day though.
Yeah.
Traveling 10, 11 hours.
I don't remember how long it was. I just remember being in there for a long time.
Okay, and you're telling this jury at no point did you smell anything suspicious?
No, I did not.
That next day from Amarillo to Decatur, still you don't smell anything suspicious?
No.
And from Decatur, and that was a 10, 11 hour drive from Decatur to Pensacola, correct?
I don't remember how long it was.
But you're in the van pretty much also?
Yeah.
It's you and your mom,
Yes.
the dogs,
Yes.
and you don't smell anything suspicious?
No.
And you can, I mean, there's that gate there, but you can still look back in that gate and see stuff back behind you.
Yeah, I mean, there's no lights or anything, so.
I know, but sometimes you're driving during the day.
Right, but you can't really see through it. It's just, there's no lights back there. It's not really shining through.
And but you never look back and you're saying you couldn't see anything when you look back in that van?
Didn't really have a reason to look back there.
You didn't look back the whole time, all 3 days? You never looked back in that van?
No.
No? Okay. And you went from Pensacola to Orlando?
Yes.
And you were supposed to be in Orlando for 5 days, but you only stayed 2?
Yes, I remember we were supposed to be there for a while and we didn't stay that long.
Okay. And then decided that you wanted to go back to South Carolina.
Yes.
That to be around family?
Yes, I remember my mom saying that we don't have money to keep staying in hotels. Our family was telling us just to go to Myrtle Beach, so that's where we went.
And throughout this whole trip, this whole journey, I mean, it's part of the reason why you think you and your mom are going there is because you guys have been receiving some threats on Facebook and
Yes.
social media.
Yes.
And so there appear to be some safety concerns why it might be best for you and your mom to leave at that point in time.
Yes.
And at this point in time, because knowing your mom your whole life, growing up with her, you couldn't believe that she would do anything to hurt Gannon during this whole trip.
No.
Then how long were you then in South Carolina before the FBI came to arrest your mom?
It was sometime between like February and March, like those weeks.
And you're saying the FBI told you that Gannon had been found down in Florida when they arrested your mom?
No, that was when I don't think they found his body until after she was arrested.
Okay. And how'd you find that out?
That's when the FBI came to my house multiple times.
Okay. And at some point, Dee Dee and Amy Bolton hire you an attorney?
Yes.
That's Julian Rosiel.
Yes.
And so obviously from that point forward until,
Sorry, Pamela. I just want to say sorry to Pam because she's new to the story and she's mentally ill. And I think we all were all like, no, she's not. No, that's because she is trying to. So Letecia Stauch, she's trying to create a defense of, guilty by reason of insanity. And so basically every move that she made in this whole case has been so calculated and so planned that the insanity defense is like out the window. But I keep calling her insane myself, and then I'm like, no, don't say that, because I don't want to. I don't want to give her that. So I was like, let me pause this so we can apologize to Pamela, because Pam's probably like, dang guys, sorry. She is downright crazy evil. Yeah, prison will be her forever new home. Yeah, she probably did try to take her poor daughter Harley down with her. Like I said, she probably wanted a 2-for-1 deal. So what we're watching right now, if you're just now joining us, is the end of the of Harley Hunt, which is Letecia Stauch's daughter's testimony in the trial for Gannon Stauch. And we watched a little bit of the prosecution, like clips here and there throughout the live. And now I just wanted to show you like the end of it because it's the defense's time. And he's just terrible. He's a terrible lawyer. So I think he knows he's terrible too, because I don't even think he comes prepared at this point. I think he just asks questions on a whim.
you come in with Mr. Rosiel to talk to Mr. Young and Agent Cohen, you had not spoke to law enforcement.
Not after, and like they came when they found Gannon's body and talked to me at Miss Dee Dee's house.
Okay. Well, I mean, you had to talk about the events September 26th, 27th, and 28th. You hadn't talked to law enforcement about, or to anybody about that ever until you sat down with Mr. Young and Agent Cohen.
When I came out here?
Yep.
No. I met with you guys before I met with him.
Yeah, but we didn't discuss those events. We discussed your mom growing up.
Okay, yes.
Okay. So you hadn't talked with anybody about those, because do you remember that your attorney had put some conditions on us talking to you?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And there were things that your attorney was allowing us to ask you and other things that he was not allowing us to ask you.
Yes.
Okay. And so the first time you had really discussed your actions, your mom's actions over the 26th, 27th, and 28th was with Mr. Young and Agent Cohen almost 3 years later.
Yes, I remember with my attorney though, previously I had to write like a personal statement that he wrote for me to send to them.
So your attorney wrote up what to say to them?
No, like a personal statement.
Okay. And you talked to your attorney before coming out here.
Yes.
And basically what was explained to you is they're not sure if they're going to charge you or not.
Yes.
And they want to get your version of what you say happened.
Yes.
And then based upon that, they were going to make a determination whether or not they were going to charge you with accessory to first degree murder.
Yes.
And at that point in time, you had already seen the probable cause affidavit.
Yes.
And so, you followed this case in the media.
Yeah, at some point in time I had to stop looking what the media said.
And you remember at the beginning of that interview that you did with Mr. Young, him telling you something to the effect of, I want to take some pressure off you. This isn't all on you. Your mother's pled not guilty by reason of insanity. So that's pretty much like an admission that she did it.
I don't remember what they exactly said when I went in there. I know that I had questioned what it meant, but I had previously talked to Julian what it meant as well.
Okay. And when you found that out that your mom had pled not guilty by reason of insanity, that angered you?
Yes.
Because you felt like you've been deceived by her this entire time.
Yes.
And you've had to put up with a lot of scorn.
A lot of what?
A lot of scorn on social media,
Yes.
anger and backlash.
Yep.
And so the decision on whether or not to charge you is going to be based upon what you, or at least not all of it, but to a degree, on what you told Mr. Young and Agent Cohen.
Can you rephrase what you said?
You knew when you were going in to do that interview with them that whether or not you got charged was going to be based in part upon what you told them.
Yes.
you will at times manipulate the truth for your benefit.
No.
And well, so when you were living in so between when your mom got arrested and now, you've been living with some different people.
Yes, I lived with one different person.
Yeah, you live with Dee Dee.
Yes.
Okay. You were also getting financial support from Aunt Brenda,
Yes.
and Brenda had bought you a car.
Yes.
And then she took that car away from you guys because you guys had a different disagreement.
Yes.
And it was difficult for you to get.
Oh my gosh, y'all. Okay. So in the beginning of the live, I don't know if you guys remember me telling you about her aunt buying her a vehicle, helping her, out in the beginning. And then as soon as she started talking to the state, her aunt took it away from her. And she said that, and she'll say it in a minute, like her aunt was like that. And I told you guys in the beginning of this live that my aunt, when I say my aunt was just like hers, just like hers. Like if she didn't get her way, things would be taken. My aunt, so they just named her aunt. Her aunt's name is Brenda, right? Brenda. Guess what my aunt's name is? Renda, with an R. Renda, without the B. I shit you not. I'm over here having a PTSD moment myself, and I'm not even in this trial. Yeah, like that to me, that's crazy. Like that makes I feel even worse now because I feel like I feel this girl's pain. They're gonna talk about it in a minute too about how her aunt took her car from her and she couldn't go to school. But I'm like, when they said Brenda, I'm like, I'm over here having a PTSD moment. I'm like, oh my Lord, my aunt's name's Brenda. I don't know who would ever name their kid Brenda, but that's her name. Hopefully she's not watching, If you're watching, hey girl, hey.
Back and forth to nursing school.
Yes.
And so in January of 2023, you set up a GoFundMe page.
Yes.
And on that GoFundMe page, you say, "Hi, my name is Harley. For those of you who don't know my story, I lost both my parents a few years ago when I was 17 years old." That statement seems to imply that both your parents died when you were 17.
I don't think it does, no.
Okay. Well, your dad had died a long time before that.
Yes.
Okay. And you didn't lose your mom. Your mom was just in prison, in jail in Colorado.
I lost her.
Okay. But you don't think that that's at all misleading to get people to give you money?
Nope, it was for my friends and family so they could have like a source to send it to me.
You were likely to get more money from people if they thought your mom was dead as opposed to if your mom was in jail.
No.
You also put in there that you've been having to provide for yourself a place to stay, transportation, and the college and the necessities of everyday livelihood.
Yes.
But you said that your aunt, up until just before that, had provided you a car.
She would, at the beginning of all this, cared and would help me with things, and then she would manipulate me and take everything away from me if I didn't do what she told me to do.
Okay. But you indicate on your GoFundMe that nobody's helped you and that you're out there all alone.
No, I did not.
During this time, not only was I struggling coping with this, was also struggling with navigating my way through life and getting myself back on my feet. I had to provide myself a place to stay, transportation, college, and everyday's necessities. I never asked for help during this time and always tried to figure out everything on my own. It was a struggle filled with both highs and lows, but God has always provided a way.
Yes.
Okay? And you don't think that's what it actually was?
I don't think that's what?
You don't think that was a manipulation of the truth?
No, it's not.
How much money did you raise from that?
Like $800 or something.
No further questions.
Redirect.
Yeah,
Here you go.
thanks.
We watched the other part, I think. Yeah, we watched it on the last video. So that was when they just redirected. And then at the end, I'm going to play the ending too, because earlier when I was 5 minutes late coming on, I don't think I've ever been that late. But sorry, guys. But I was watching the ending of the trial, and I was trying to hurry and get through because I wanted to make sure I got all the info so I could give it to you and I didn't miss anything. But what was I going to say about this part now? Son of a gun, guys! I just lost my train of thought. Oh, but I'm gonna fast forward it to when the jurors. I love Nancy. The jurors can ask certain questions at the end of each witness, which I think is awesome. I think they should do that in every case. Every state should do that. So the jurors can ask questions. I'm gonna always say it like that now, jurors. So they can ask questions, and they did at the end, and I was trying to write them down, but they were like, after the first question, they were starting to get long, and I was like wanting to get on here with you guys. So we'll play the ending of that way you guys could hear what they were asking. Because I know that they do ask some questions. And we just went over the redirect, so that's what we watched a minute ago. Is he going away? Or he always steps up at, like, in front of the podium and then goes back. Okay, maybe right here. Because I think it's muted for a minute and then they come on. So we'll just see. Oh, look at her crying. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord, Harley. Oh. Yeah, can Landon testify? Yeah, I think that she's going to be testifying soon, Laughing Stock. I wish that we knew who was going on the stand next. They did in the Joe 80 Ayers trial too. Oh, that's good, Janet. There's probably lots of questions to ask. You had to turn it off. I know, I'm like, man, it's telling me to breathe. Take a minute. I don't talk about my aunt very often. My brother won't talk about her at all. Like, at all. She just pulled Alicia. I brain fart at least 5 to 10 times a day. Oh my gosh. They would have so many questions. They probably never leave at night. I wonder how many questions they can ask. I wonder how many is too many. Like, I mean, literally, what if you're there like 8 o'clock at night and you're like, man, I'm supposed to be out here at 5? She does blog. She does some stuff, Summer. I know she does like some TikTok and stuff. We watched one, or did I watch that by myself? I thought we watched it together. Where she was like getting ready to go to, wasn't that her that was like getting ready to go to Pilates or something? We watched a video. Maybe I didn't watch it with you guys. Thought I did. Shoot, y'all. I can't remember what I watched with you and I watched without you. I like that we get to hear what their questions are. Instagram and TikTok, yeah. I posted a TikTok today, and I posted a short video.
Ms. Hunt, did you see a large green suitcase loaded into the second van?
No.
The night when your mom asked, sorry, Jess, the night when your mom asked you to go down with her to say goodnight to Gannon, do you have a specific recollection of seeing any part of his body, like his hands, face, or any part of his actual skin?
I remember seeing his head.
The morning of the first day in Pensacola, Florida, when you left the hotel, do you recall if the van was in a different parking spot than where you had parked it when you checked in?
I don't remember.
So let me rephrase that a little bit. So when you got there, the van's parked and you check in. You come out the next morning. Is it in the same spot or in a different spot?
I don't remember where we parked. I just know we would always park towards the back of the hotel.
Okay. During your time living in Colorado Springs home with the other kids, Gannon and Lena, did it appear to you that Gannon was treated more strict or more unfair than anyone else by the defendant, your mom?
No.
All right. I will allow reasonable follow-up as to those questions only. Prosecution?
We would request to publish People's Exhibit 48, that's already in the evidence. Ms. Hunt, if you can look at the TV screen, this is People's Exhibit 48. Do you recognize the suitcase that we see in that exhibit?
Yes.
How do you recognize that suitcase?
I remember it from like moving from like Alaska or anytime we would move.
Had you ever seen that during the time periods that we've been talking about? January 27th, January 28th, January 29th, all the way up to February 4th?
No.
Those are my questions.
Defense? All right, thank you, Ms. Hunt. You may step down. Watch your step. It's okay, go ahead. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're going to end a little bit early today. So if I can have everyone back in the jury room a little bit before 9 o'clock in the morning, we should be able to start on time. Again, do not discuss the case among yourselves. Do not discuss the case with anyone else. Do not do your own independent research.
Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry about that. So why did you get banned on TikTok, Summer? I peed off some people on TikTok the other day, or well, it's been a while ago now. I did a video on. I mean, it was news. It wasn't my news, but it was on the Idaho 4, and it was over Sarah. Wow. Xana Kernodle's mom. And when News Nation did the segment, and they were like, they thought it was a conflict of interest. Well, I did a TikTok over it, just just kind of like, do I feel like it's a conflict of interest? And just whenever the News Nation thing. And I had like two different, it's only two different people, but that's a lot for me compared to YouTube over here. People were nicer over on YouTube, but two different people like stitched my thing, and they were just like so mean to me. They were like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And then this one broad. Okay. I don't know why people do this. I think that makes them feel good or something, but you can get TikTok followers. Like, if you post consecutively at good times, look at your analytics, and you post like, trending music or trending things, you can get a shit ton of subscribers over on TikTok. Like, I've heard this not only from other YouTube creators, but people on TikTok. But getting YouTube subscribers is hell of a lot harder. Hell of a lot. And watch time hours, hell of a lot harder. I actually just hit 100,000 watch time hours. That's a lot. That's a shit ton. That's a shit ton. Because I've had, you can get 12,000 views on a video, but only get, like, say you get 12,000 views on a video, you can only have like 100 watch time hours. Do you know what I mean? Like, because people don't watch the whole video or they skip through, things of that nature. So, so on TikTok, those two girls came like after my butt. And I was like, people are mean over here. Well, one of the girls was like, yeah, she's over on YouTube. Because she had like, I don't know how many subscribers like on her YouTube, her platform on TikTok. I don't know. And she was like, and she has like 6,000 subscribers. And I'm like, I don't know why people say that. Like, put that in there. I think they do it to make themselves feel better because they have like more over on TikTok or whatever it be, maybe. But it's just like, you're the one that's looking at my TikTok. So apparently I'm doing something right there, stupid lady. I will have to play it sometime for you guys. Oh, and I am going to start keeping comments and showcasing. Oh, my back's itching so bad. Sorry. Showcasing certain comments because I really do get some gems. I actually took a picture of one today. Let's see. I think I did. Because I was just like, oh, Oh, earlier, someone. This was kind of funny. So we did open panel the other night, and we had someone come up on open panel, and me and her were kind of debating back and forth. And this person like commented, she put, "That was funny. He did not stand there and do a powwow dance." She said that lady wouldn't convict him if she had a freaking video. Geez. But she wouldn't have. But I thought that was a funny one. Oh, and then when we went over, we had the live over the Idaho 4 and we were going over the victims' IDs. And I strictly said, like I said it right on the live, it doesn't say if it's a victim's ID. It just says ID cards inside of a glove, inside of a box. I probably said that more times than I probably should have said it. And then I get this comment. I swear no one listened to what was said about the ID. You all heard Brian Kohlberger had an ID and all your hearing shut down. They said they found an ID that was connected to the house, which could be anyone's ID that had ever been there or even one of the parents, who knows. Don't you think if it was the victims, they would have just said that? And I was just like, oh, thank you, Pamela, for the super sticker. You're so sweet. She's good to me. She is good to me. I was looking at your picture. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. But yeah, I was like, and of course I can't stay out of the damn peanut gallery. I have to say something. So I said, I never said I was a victim's ID. And then I wasn't pleased with that. So I went back and I trolled my own channel. And I just said, please watch my videos. Just like watch the whole video. It's fine. Like it, then comment on it. Like don't, like it's when those people copy and paste things, then they don't read all of it. And you start reading the top and it sounds good, but then you get to the bottom and it's like, what? And it's like, did they read this? TikTok is brutal, Tony. I don't know if it's like my age or what. Because those people be mean. They're fast too at being mean. Like they're quick. Because they don't have to, they can make a 3-second video, a 30-second video, 10-second video. I think it's just an age difference or something. There's an age gap. I don't know. See, I'm not a TikTok dancing kind of person. I need to get Vincent to do TikToks with me. He won't. So I told him I was going to get a new boyfriend to do them. Just not a new boyfriend, but just a boyfriend stand-in that just does TikToks with me. I actually even did a Snapchat video one day and I posted it on might have been on TikTok actually. I think it's on my TikTok. And I was like, if you, yeah, it might be on my Poppy and Ari one. It might be on the boutique one, but I was like, if you know any guys that want to do TikToks, it is the young crowd laughing stock. And I want to be cool. And I'm young still, but I feel like I'm just not, I don't know. Like I used to dance. I took dancing when I was younger, but I'm just not a dancing person. But I would, yeah, a dancing double. See, like exactly. Dancing double. That's what I need, just a stand-in. Because he's not a social media guy at all. Like, and technically, to be a content creator, you really should, like, I should be all over the place. I should be on TikTok all the time, like every day. And I should do like short videos and stuff, but Tony, can I have Vincent then? No, I still want him. He's still my boyfriend. He's still my man. Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I don't get TikTok. I'm too old. I don't do either. I get on there like, I don't get on there and scroll because I know better than that. Like I'll lose my whole day because I can do that on YouTube shorts and I don't, because if I start scrolling, I'll keep scrolling. Oh, thanks, Steve. Just keep being yourself. I've tried my whole life to be someone else and I shine through every time. Like, no, I really will try. Like when I was in high school, I would try to like, I've always been like kind of out there. Like, I really do. I let my whole self shine through everywhere I'm at, and every aspect of my life. I've always done that. And so I would try, like in high school, I try to be like, okay, Tanya, don't be as loud, or, try not to talk so much. 2 seconds later, there I am. Or I'm not that quirky person. Like I'm the person that'll tell someone not to do something and then I go and do it. And I don't mean to do it. Like I really don't. But for instance, I'll tell you, it's kind of a funny story. It was funny because she laughed, they laughed and I laughed at the end. So that was all that mattered. But I used to be before I was a boutique owner, I was a boutique manager at a store. And I had a new employee, and her name was Sarah. Their name was Sarah. And Sarah had worked there for about a week. Very different personality than anybody I've ever come in contact with in my life. Just different than anybody I've ever been around. Very detail oriented though. God. Perfection. When you put them on a job, they would be able to do the job. So I keep wanting to say she. So with that being said, Sarah told another employee that was new, and the other employee came to me, of course, and told me that they go by they pronouns, I guess you would say. More like she said, some days she would wake up, she feels like a guy. Some days she wakes up, feels like a girl. And I was like, okay. Well, now what was I going to get to about my funny story? Talking about Sarah. Oh, so Sarah, so about me being quirky. So Sarah says she goes by they pronouns, or like they, them. And so this was something new to me that I've never experienced before. I'm 36. I've been in management for like 20 years. It's been a long time. And at least 15. And so it was just something different. And so there was like a system we had where we would all have an iPod. It was an iPod, and we could text though through the store thread. So there's 35 stores on this thread. All these women, all these guys, well, all women. It was all women. We didn't have one guy. So yeah, it was all women. And so Sarah, got it was called a Warbuck, and it was this big thing in our company. So I wanted to shout her out, and I had just told the manager over at another store, that was our same company, about the situation, hey, just say they, them, she, or they, them, Sarah goes by, they, them pronouns. So, of course, I get on the iPad or iPod and I say quirky and corky at the same time. A little both, quirky, but my accent's a little out there. But so, of course, I say on the company iPod or stupid iPod, I said, "You go, girl." And as soon as I sent it, I just looked down. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me." Because I knew that the manager I just told, because me and her were really good friends for a very long time before we even worked at these places. So she knew me and my personality. She knew I was genuine. She was calling my store laughing. She's just laughing because she knows I'm in the creek now. And so my face was bright red. And Sarah was working in the store beside my store at the time. So she was she was helping out. And so I ran over there and I was just red. And she just looked at me and she's or I keep saying she now, listen to me. I can't get it out. I can't stop saying it. But Sarah laughed about it. And I was like, "I'm so sorry. You just told me not to do that. And I did it." But that's me. So if I do something like that, that's just me. I don't mean it. I don't mean to do that. Speaking of taking earrings off, when your nails are long, I wear these little poppy earrings, they're little poppy earrings. Well, they're so hard to get in when my nails were so long. I'm gonna be able to take them out tonight. Oh my gosh, I could take them out right now. My accent is well, I'm from Philadelphia. My parents were raised there, so so some of my accent comes from the East Coast, and then I grew up in Ohio, Southern Ohio, so it's kind of all over the place. Because I say there's certain words I'll say weird. I'll say it off. I do it all the time. But that felt good to take those earrings out, and then I could put them back in, and not have to fight it. It's been bad, guys. Where are you from, Laughing Stock? I can't tell by your name or your photo. Your picture's pretty. Oh, your picture's so pretty. Look at your hat. Oh, you could pull off the big hat. I couldn't do that. I've always wanted to have one. I think I got one actually on the beach. Where did that hat go? I don't know. Oh, thank you. I'm quirky and quirky at the same time. But that is how I got my first store, though. They said it was because I was the most genuine person they ever met. And I'm like, believe me, you haven't met my father. He was even more genuine. Go Eagles, Ina. All the time, every day. Speaking of Eagles, there's Arlene. Go Philly. I was going to say, there she is. And it was football season. Arlene, I'm so ADHD. And Arlene will come in the chat and she would say, go Eagles. And it would throw me off every time. And then she'd still be in the chat just chatting around. And then I look later and she'd say, go Eagles, or something like along those lines, or something, or Philly, and I'm like, yeah, Eagles. Like, you know me. I get distracted very easily. The Queen's Cup in Charlotte. I was gonna ask if maybe it was the Kentucky Derby. I've always wanted to go to the Kentucky Derby. Oh, you wear like rings in your ears? Oh, I bet those are cute. I thought about getting one more hole. I don't know. My mom was 40 and I was getting my hair done for like prom or homecoming or something. And I remember we were at the salon and they did piercings and she got her piercing like up here done in her ear and she was 40. And I don't know if it's an age thing, but I literally the other day I was just like, I want to get my ear pierced again. Like, I don't even have another pair of earrings. I wear these ones every day. These earrings, I don't know if you could see it. It has like a little diamond in it. Where am I at? Yeah, you can't see it there. That looks like a piece of crap earring, but it's really not. It's so cute. But Vincent gave me these. He's never had a girlfriend, poor guy. But he bought these earrings for a little girl when he was in like 8th grade, 7th or 8th grade. And we were in his house, in his bedroom. For the first time I was in his bedroom. We've been together 7 years. It took me six and a half years to get in his bedroom. We were in California and he had this box sitting there and he showed it to me and he was like, oh, he's like, do you want them? And I'm like, yes, I want them. I'm like, that little girl didn't take these earrings. He's like, no, she didn't like me, I guess. And I was like, good thing. Good thing. Because now I wear them every day. Even though like I know they were kind of meant for someone else, but it was in 7th grade. So I'm like, and they're poppy earrings and my store's called Poppy and Ari, California State Flowers Poppy. I know I'm gonna have to take a better picture of them. Cause it's like a poppy flower. I don't know how to like hold it up to where it would be like shining. I have to like, I don't know, bring in a light or something over. What if I have a little, I don't think this would work. I have like a little, like one of these lights. Look at me trying to get clever. I don't know if that would. You can't really see it. It's still blurry. Yeah, it's still blurry. I think it's like because it's trying to be focused more on me. Yeah, wait, I was gonna say, Eddie, are you here, Eddie? We're getting ready to get off here, but you have a little, oh, I have a little eagle with a football shirt and helmet my brother bought me. Aw. That's so cute. American version of football. I have a football that I put on my Christmas tree every year, dead center. My tree's beautiful, other than that ornament. My dad put it there every year on my mom's tree, so I had to, do that for him. So I do it every year for him. If you can't enable the gifts, I'm not sure how to enable them, but I know that whenever people go to send a gift, it'll ask you in the chat and then you can hit allow gifts. So. Oh, really, Tandy? That's cute. I still think I sound like I'm from Pennsylvania. My parents, when they taught us how to like speak and like talk, and even when we were teenagers or my early 20s, my mom even before I was 28, I was 30 actually when my mom passed. She was still correct. She would still correct my English, like back to how they would say it in Pennsylvania. Like, just certain words, you know, soda, you say soda, you don't say pop. Like, if I say pop, my mom would be like, what? Would you say soda? You mean soda? Just things like that. So, you know. But I am going to jump off of here because Vincent's going to have to go to work tomorrow. So I thought I was going to say that, Tandy. I think this is your first time here. Well, welcome. I know I'm trying to think of more examples. I'll have to think of some. I'm like, can't think of them off the top of my head right now, but for some reason. But my parents were always like creek instead of crick. That was one. You don't say crick. Like people in Ohio say crick. My friend actually named his son Crick after like creek, lake, you know, creek, crick. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Tony. Oh my God, no pop. Yeah, like I had a shirt that said one time, it said like, I say pop instead of soda. And I'm like, I don't know why. The same company I get this shirt from, I just buy too many of them. And I'm like, Tanya, but you don't even drink pop. Like that's not pop. You drink soda. I'm glad you stopped by too. I'm so glad. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. What is tonight, Monday? It was a good Monday. I don't even know why I was thinking it was a different day. Yeah, so don't forget to like the video and all that good stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 6,700 Titans. I'm not sure where we're at right now, but we're close. I had it up earlier. Now I don't know where it went. But thank you guys for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. And we will be doing a members only live soon. I'll put that in the chat if anyone wants to join. Also, I'll be on tomorrow night around 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. So don't forget Eastern Standard Time because I tend to forget to tell you guys that. I love you guys. You have a good night and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye guys.